Hi there, my name is Phixfox and welcome back to Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Today we're going to be doing the fair and square template that you will find in classic mode. Up to this point we've done a lot of single hero mode and I'm excited to just kind of hit the random button and see what random faction fate will bring to us. We're going to have a nice time using hero chains and we're going to try and spread our influence. I think that one of the things that I'm personally working on is using multiple heroes in Olden Era to great effect. I think that there's still a lot of opportunity to figure out exactly what fights you can take and what fights you should save for another day. So with that being said, we got a ton of wonderful people in the chat. Thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you to everybody that will join us later. And thank you to everybody that will catch us on YouTube in the future. So with that being said, folks, let's just lock and load. We're going to go into single player classic. We're going to go into this fair and square template here. And so this is going to be us, as you can tell, a large map, 4 players. We are of course going to be one of the 4. And it indicates, if you see on the right hand side, you can have as many heroes as the number of cities you control. Fair and square. Conquer more lands to build a mighty party and defeat your opponents. I'm literally just going to put this on random. It looks like for random, we have randomly rolled the dungeon faction. So we are back to the random factions of the dungeons. And once again, I'm just going to let this dice roll decide. Let's figure out what hero we're going to be playing as today. It looks like it's going to be Motley. Okay, here's the problem. We've already played one Motley playthrough. We've already played a dungeon Motley playthrough. So it's not that I'm not going to let fate decide. It's just that I'm going to hit the dice roll one more time. Any other hero but Motley. Okay, it's going to be Talaris the Betrayed. This is a hero that's going to start off with a couple of nice specialities. This is going to be with the early start spell. It's going to be... What the hell do you do? Bro, what do you do? Hold on. We're going to go with Talaris. Talaris has the Masterful early start spell. Okay, this version of the spell cannot be dispelled by any means. That's all that your Masterful spell does? Damn it. But as we impact this spell, as we get more proficient with our spell casting, the spell power will be increased by 1 for every 3 hero levels. So we're going to see how this works out. It just kind of sucks that your tier 7 creature, the dragons, are not going to be affected by this Masterful early start spell. Well, that's what the dice rolls decide. We're going to put this on apocalyptic difficulty and let's just dive right in. But Sandra the Peasant Killer asks, is it the demo or some advanced version of it? This is the demo, so we're still currently on the demo, having a really nice time with that. So that's our plan for today. Boyster says, it always amazes me for the trains being on time or not on time. They're in Poland and they think that the German trains are often on time. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't live in that neck of the woods, as it were. But there is something about German efficiency. I expect the trains to run on time, and I expect the beer to be flowing quite rapidly. We got a new follow in the chat. First time chatter, not Chickadee. Hello to the real Phixfox. How do you get level 5 Mage Guild with Schism? I can't build it in the city. Great question. So similar to Heroes of Might and Magic 3, not every faction has access to a tier 5 spell, or rather a tier 5 Mage Guild. So for example, here with the Dungeon faction, hold on. We do have access to that tier 5 Mage Guild, right? You can see that right here. Other factions, they just don't simply have it. So I'm anticipating that like Barbarians, they're not going to have it. Schism faction, they don't have it. Temple, they don't have it. That's just important to note that not every faction is going to allow you to build that 5th level Mage Guild. It's the right question, but if you're having difficulties, I'd recommend that you go try and find another castle if you're really wanting to access 5th level spells. So with that being said, folks, we're going to start off here with Talaris the Betrayed. We got 26 of the Troglodytes. We got 10 of the Infiltrators. We got 9 of the Onyx Dancers. We do start off with the basic Battlecraft. So if we want to skip or wait our turn, we will get additional bonuses. And of course, the speciality for the Dungeon faction, the Triumvirate Strength. I love Triumvirate Strength. I want to get this upgraded as soon as possible. We got 2 castles for ourselves. It looks like we got Maze of Mazes here as our starting castle. And then not too far away, we've got Chattertown. I'm anticipating that both are, yes, just barely upgraded at all. We've got our Troglodyte Warren and we have our safe house here for the Infiltrators in Chattertown. And then back home at our main castle, we've got the same Troglodytes and the Infiltrators. So off a long way to go. My general plan is I like to get some strong economy. Right now we got the gold to get at least 1 Byzantine palace. I'd like to get at least 10 wood. So let's focus on wood, let's focus on ore, and let's see what we can find here nearby. We do see it looks like a Phoenix Pyre. Yeah, Ritual Pyre. Defeat its guard to obtain Phoenixes. Now, I don't think that you actually have to defeat the Phoenixes here to get this. Wait, is this the weekly growth? Or is this just like a one-time creature bank? We're gonna have to go check this out, but this is an opportunity to pick up some phoenixes. Fight Chimera to get gold. We're gonna ignore this for now. We just don't have the forces to defeat a Chimera. Super tough creatures. We got some gems. We got a nice Omen Collar artifact not too far away. A safe house for level 2 infiltrators. Looks like, yeah, too many creepy crawlies from the Hive faction for there. Like seeing the amphitheater. So for the tier 3 creatures, this is a neutral adventure map dwelling there, but that's a hefty amount of cultists and the upgraded cultists as well. By the way, important to note, yes, oh my goodness, portals can be guarded in Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Unlike other Heroes games, it looks like there's about 20 to 50 kitten horns in here. Kitten horns are not a force to be trifled with. They are actually pretty tough. So we're going to have to stay far, far away from this portal. But if you're not paying attention, you might accidentally click on the portal, think you can walk through it, and then you end up dead. So we're just going to avoid that for now. And then it looks like to the south, is this a dragon cave? This might be the neutral dragon cave. It looks like there's some mantis over here. Yeah, goblin cash for a small reward there. Tell you what, let's travel along the road and see what we can find. Starting off with this Omen Collar, we're going to grab that. This is going to be an artifact giving us -1 enemy luck. Not too bad, not too bad. And as we go up the road, it's going to be a little bit of gold. 400 gold for us. And we come upon a hidden treasure chest. Do we want to distribute the gold to the peasantry and take the experience, or do we want the gold? Folks, early on apocalyptic difficulty, you want the gold. We're going to take 2,000 gold. That sounds great to me. And it is going to be a cave palace. If we can focus on getting up to our tier 7 creatures, we're going to have +1 dragon growth every week. That feels excellent. Excellent. A little bit of alchemical dust along the way. That's going to be 8 alchemical dust. That's not going to be quite enough for either the Warren or for the safe house. If we can get 12 more alchemical dust, we can get the upgraded infiltrators, the bleak infiltrators or the guile infiltrators. That's actually a really nice tier 2 upgrade. I'd love to pick that up if we can. We will have to wait and see about that. Let's go to this windmill once per week, give some visiting gems in this case. And we talked about wanting to get some wood. Folks, this sawmill is a little too heavily guarded. I would say that that's a little bit too heavily guarded. It's really bad because we need lots of wood. We can steal this one pile of wood. We're going to do that in just a moment. But there's an awful lot of... In week 1, there's an awful lot of ignoring stuff for me. There's a lot of fights I would like to take, and I just don't feel comfortable fighting the fights unless I know I can win. The abandoned mansion, we're going to want to get that later on. The guards are probably a little bit too much. There's like skeletons and skeleton archers and a couple of other creepy crawlies. You know, undead forces in an abandoned mansion. That just makes sense. And then even these skeleton archers, I don't really have a nice way of shutting them down. If I had Motley, funny enough, I could use Twilight and I could shut down many of these archers, these skeleton archers. For now, that's just not going to work for me. So let's just steal a couple of the surrounding resources. And is there a chance to go off-roading here? There's a free knowledge garden for +1 knowledge. I think I'm just going to stay on the road for now. I'm going to continue up the road. And note that, by the way, I did not pick up any of these forces initially. I'm really trying to make sure that my gold is where it ought to be. I was not 100% sure I was going to pick up the right amount of gold. Now I'm wishing I did, because it looks like, for sure, with only 6 wood, we're not going to be able to get to this Byzantine palace just yet. We're going to have to fight those infiltrators in order to get much of anything. The nice thing is that we'll at least be able to go down here, pick up some more wood, grab this, and then head on back. But folks, that's pretty much the end of this first day. And maybe with our very first bit of faction law points, we're going to go for resource riches. This is going to be the one-time bonus of gold, wood, and ore. That just seems pretty useful on apocalyptic difficulty, even though it might be a waste in other templates and other difficulties. For me, right now, it feels pretty good. So that's going to be the end of day 1, and we're going to be going on to day 2. Phixfox, second hero. You know what? A second hero would actually be pretty good. Nobody asked that, but I asked that to myself. We had the gold for it. I think that that was a missed opportunity. I think that pretty much immediately, because we can have 2 heroes, 1 hero for every city we control on this template, I think it's a good idea to pick up our... It's a good idea to pick up our second hero. Hey, look, it's Motley. I cannot get rid of her. I cannot get rid of her. And I like her. She's good. I love Motley. She's a good hero. She does really good with your Onyx Dancers. I'm going to pick her up because if for no other reason, then the forces are good. Ooh, Typhona. Unfortunately, she does not come with her Hydras just because she's a second hero purchased this week. It's sad, isn't it? Okay, but now because I've got this opportunity, I'm going to grab these troops. We're going to go on this little quest here. We're just going to go down, drop off the forces, keep the troglodytes, I believe. And there is like a hold on, if I click here, there you go. I think that if you highlight the stack and then you do your every army over, no, it works best, I think, if you put whatever creature you don't want to travel from force to force. I think if you stick them in this bottom section here, like right now it's going to be dancers, there's gonna be one dancer left over. That's probably the quickest way of adjusting your stack sizes. Stick the creature you want to stay here on the other hero on the far right position. We're trying to figure out some of the quicker ways of doing some things in this game. So far, that's maybe one of the best things we can do. Okay, with these Onyx Dancers though, I think that this fight is much more doable than it was. I'm still gonna go down and grab some additional forces, some additional reinforcements, but it's nice to know we're not gonna have to go all the way back up to get the sawmill. So let's just grab whatever's along the road. How much wood is this? This is gonna be 6 wood. Feels pretty good. A couple of gems, 4 gems, 5 ore. Let's grab everybody we can. And with 30 of these dancers, I think that it's a good time for us to go step on these forces. So let's go get our sawmill and let's have Motley go off into the desert, as it were, and just go find her fortune. Go find me free stuff, because oh boy, do I need free stuff. And then still, we over purchased on the Byzantine Palace. I'm still happy we got the forces, but I feel very, very far behind. Apocalyptic difficulty, I feel very, very far behind. That's on to day 3. Frodo says, okay, I haven't been intentionally avoiding Olden Era, but this is my first time seeing the artwork of the castle. It's beautiful. Props to the devs. I really enjoy the dungeon faction artwork. It really is beautiful. Worth noting, folks, just as a heads up, I do try and turn off gameplay city camera mode. I keep it on static because I realize that's part of the reason why I get a little bit motion sick playing Olden Era. If I keep it on static, I'm fine. But if you just go to default, then you can actually like do this nifty thing here. It's really cool. It's really lovely. I enjoy it. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work for me. So I hope it works for you. But for me, I have to keep this on static. Otherwise, I'm going to have a real bad time. But yeah, I agree completely with you. Very, very beautiful. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I have noticed that every time I adjust my settings, it does tend to take a little bit of time to like kind of catch up. Are we good now? We're good now. Okay, perfect. And Star says, oh, that's a ridiculous guard for the sawmill. Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. There's no way like normal forces can really defeat that. In fact, I'd really love like a tier 2 creature to really kind of handle that. But like more than just my starting forces, I'd love tier 2, tier 3 creatures to solve that. We'll see how that goes. Even these, for this other opportunity here, we've got the wood storage. It's guarded by the upgraded T2 version for the undead. Like I think that these are the wraiths. No, these are the phantasms. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. 3,000 gold from this goblin cache, a couple of nice resources from the crow's nest, 4 of each of the precious resources. That was a really nice pickup. This is actually pretty good. We can maybe get some more onyx dancers from these fawns and these hoplets. Of course, the tier 1 and the tier 2 creatures from the Sylvan faction. That's not too bad. Point of balance. Wow. If we want to pick up the Sentinels of Glory, which I believe are at tier 7, or even, are they tier 8? I think that they're just tier 7 neutral creatures that aren't aligned with any faction. That could be a really nice pickup, not once, but twice. That could be very nice. Okay, other opportunities, folks. Until we are able to get a right amount of wood, we are going to be hard capped. We're going to pick up the Byzantine Palace right now. It's going to increase our gold income. That's going to increase the amount of law points we get. And we're going to use the law points to get resource riches. And that's going to give us the opportunity in our other castle to pick up... No, we're still short. I thought that'd be enough to pick up this other Byzantine Palace. Maybe I should go into... other creatures though. I really find on apocalyptic difficulty, if you just focus on the early game economy, you tend to do much better. But I would like to make a purchase this day. You know, the amphitheater doesn't actually cost any wood. 1,000 gold, 5 ore, 2 gems, 2 crystal, 2 mercury. We're gonna go for the amphitheater. Yeah, we're gonna go for the amphitheater. And even though these dancers are still back over here and they're a little bit too far away from us, I think that Talaris has got to find a way to get some wood on the board. So what I'm going to do is this. I like to use single stacks of my dancers so that way I can get the defense shred. I like to also have one single stack of, in this case, it's going to be infiltrators because they got high speed and I can maybe, you know, prevent some damage. So we're going to go for single stacks to reduce damage. We're going to go, or rather defenses. We're going to go with one single stack to try and take a shot off of these guys, take off some initiative. And this feels like this is going to be a bit of a tough fight. We're going to have some fun doing this. It says we lose. The losses are actually looking fairly good. I think that with a couple of additional tactics, we can turn this loss into a victory. So let's give this a shot. Let's go to battle and see what happens. Alrighty. Bearded Man says, Chattertown, you say? What a coincidence. Do you know someone from Chattertown? Are you someone from Chattertown? I hope so. Window first time. Hey, nice to see you there. Playing Heroes Might and Magic 8 like an industrial economist. Hey, I got a 5-year plan. It's not politically correct, but I've got a 5-year plan, that's for sure. Welcome in. Nice to have you here. And let me just take a quick peek, make sure. Let's see. And it was Zorg SC2, StarCraft 2 player, huh? With the follow. Nice to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Pleasure to have you in. Okay. Well, folks, I think I like Jasper Dancers, or rather not Jasper Dancers, Onyx Dancers in the back. I think I like this setup. Let's just hit start battle. These creatures are all going to wait. They're going to be right on top of us. One thing that I know for sure that the AI doesn't take into account when you're doing battles is it doesn't take into account your triumvirate strength. And so right now for this first turn, let's see. We have Masterful Start. Remember that. Initiative of the target friendly creature increased by 2. These guys' initiative is going to be 8. Do we have anybody that can rival that? Yes. So my Infiltrator on the top stack is going to be able to rival that. So I'm going to put attack Minotaur stance on. So I go from 2 attack up to 4 attack. I'm going to make sure I cast my Masterful Early Start, which is going to last for 2 rounds on this top Infiltrator. So that way, at the beginning of the first round, we are going to get to go first. So then I can throw it into a new gear. We're going to go from the attack stance into the defensive stance with the Dark Elves. We're just going to wait a couple times, and let's start to spread our damage with these bouncing glaives. Let's go 1, 2. I'm going to wait on this big stack so that the other 2 groups can get some damage off, because the Onyx Dancers have this really nice ability where, number 1, they can fight 1 creature or 2. I choose to fight 2 because you have this 1,000 cuts ability, and you can reduce the target's defense by 1 until the end of the battle. So if I'm focusing on these 2 center stacks right now, these guys are -3 defense. They're down to 0 defense. Yeah, 0 defense. And last I knew, you could go into negatives. Looks like we're not into the negatives, though. Maybe you can... Oh, maybe I messed up. Maybe that's been a change. Maybe that's something that they've done differently. It used to be that you could put the enemy into negative defense. And you could do bonus damage against them. It looks like I would have been best off spreading my damage on this 3rd stack somewhere else, like here and here. But that's okay. I'm just going to wait on the troglodytes for now. Well, let's cover up the big stack here. We got to keep the big stack of dancers alive. It's not going to be pretty, but that's what we're going to do. And then I have a choice. I can kill 8 to 11, or I can kill 9 to 12. You can already see the damage amp going up. Because the glaive attack... Let's see. You just want to take out 1 full stack? I think I'm going to take out 1 full stack. I'll just do 9 to 12 right here, because this stack is going to be potentially getting caught up on one of these other groups. We're going to defend here. Here they come, boys. Stand your ground. Now, I do have an opportunity because I'm going to be on this new round. I'm going to hit defend. I could either Masterful Start the Onyx Dancers, or I could do this stack. If I'm early start here, then I get a lot of damage off. If I early start here, I can get maybe even more damage off. Which is the stronger stack? Who's going to do more damage? Who's more valuable? I think it's actually going to be the Dancers. From 6 initiative up to 8, that might not be the best, because then this group is going to get to go, and they will be able to reach this group of Infiltrators. So tell you what, let's go Masterful Early Start here. We're going to go on up to there. I'm going to take the retaliation from... this bottom stack here. Do it like this. Oh, top stack. So maybe the Troglodytes are going to be able to do full damage there in just a second. We do have our Heroic Strike ability. I'm going to make sure I throw it into the Dark Elf stance. I'd rather be doing reduced damage at the moment, because we're going to kill 10 to 17 at the moment anyway. Let's focus on top stack of groups there. Do I want to do the half damage? If I do the fighting style hit and run, I will kill half the amount of creatures, but I'll return to this spot. I think that that's actually going to be better for me. I will kill less. I'll take more damage on the retaliation. Unless I attack here, and then I'll almost kill the full stack. Let's do that instead. We're just going to avoid retaliation shots. I just want 1 enemy to be able to fight me right there. So we mostly take out that stat. It looks like the Troglodytes are going to take a beating. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And then my bottom stack, 34 Infiltrators, down to 20. The 22 Guile Infiltrators got the good luck hit off, and they killed a bunch of my Infiltrators. That feels really, really bad. Okay, not good, not good. Stay calm, don't panic. Rule number 1 is don't panic. Rule number 2 is wait on your Dancers until they can do more stuff. Okay, let's see. There's this stack up here has got the reduced armor. I do want to fight here. I want to fight here. Okay, that was about 16 infiltrators goes down. I think I'm just going to end up waiting. No, this guy does not have his retaliation. You can tell if an enemy has a retaliation. There's like a little glowing orb sort of a deal, like a little half moon or a half sun over the bar of whatever creature you're looking at. This guy's got his retaliation. This guy's got his retaliation. These other ones do not. We're just doing some damage right here. So I'm not going to attack here. I am going to step away, though. Maybe I can get a nice double hex attack off in a second. And then, folks, it's time for these troglodytes to get some retaliation. We can kill up to 14. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to potentially take some damage here. Let's see how good we do. We killed the whole stack. That was a good choice. That felt really good. Okay, and then we're just going to skip. No, we can do this. There and there. A little bit of negative damage right here. Okay, perfect. And, okay, infiltrators, we're still initiative of 10. We can do heroic strike. We can take out 3. Let's start working on this big stack here. We're gonna take a beating there in just a moment or two. I don't want to do fighting style hit and run. Just kill 4 to 6. I don't want to just kill 4 to 6. We kill 4. Not great. I think that actually was a mistake. I think I probably should have just done full damage. And the Guile infiltrators just use their shadow strike attack. It deals basic damage to any enemy, ignoring their defenses. So the poor little troglodytes just got obliterated. I feel really bad for them. But now, because the enemy's all taking their turn, we're going to go from the defense up to the attack for the Minotaur stance. Might as well do some damage here. I don't think I'm going to lose one dancer just on this retaliation. I don't. And then I think that these free stacks are not going to be too big of a problem. Let's just kill where we can, when we can. Damage. Good, good. And damage. Good. Troglodytes, 4 to 7. We kill the full stack. And folks, this isn't pretty. Like, we took a lot of losses here, but you had to have your sawmill. You had to have your sawmill. And we did turn this from a loss into a victory. So overall, I'm happy with the way things went. I still feel a little bit clumsy as I'm fighting this fight. Heroes 2, Heroes 3, like I feel like I can breeze through these fights much quicker. In Olden Era, I still have to take my time in every single step to make sure that I don't speak out of turn. I have to make sure that I do things correctly, tactically, in an advantageous way. But the prize is apparent. We go from a loss to a victory, and we take our sawmill. We have the choice between basic offense for an additional 10% damage from basic attacks, advanced triumvirate strength, where we can activate the stance and get some additional bonuses, not to mention some nice sub skills, or we can go for advanced battlecraft, where we get additional stats whether we wait or we defend. I'm going to go with the advanced triumvirate strength. I like battlecraft. I think that the secondary skills, and more importantly, expert triumvirate strength, is just that good. If we can get into expert triumvirate strength, I'm going to be clearing the map much better than I otherwise would have been. So interesting that we have the opportunist subskill +1 initiative to friendly creatures, because we already have the masterful early start. So that's potentially +3 initiative to our forces. I don't know how valuable that's going to be. +3 initiative. Clearing some of these early game maps. We got the Agashoth Riders, we got some cultists, troglodytes. That might be interesting. But dealing and taking damage on native terrain, I mean, I think that if we're going to be fighting lots of fights in our little starting biome, I think that this is always going to be good. And then the idea of this Alvarian expertise, where when selecting a stance, the corresponding attribute from the enemy partially decreases. I like it. I think I'm just going to go with Underground Passages, though. 10% flat damage in addition and reduced for the enemy. I just think that that's super good. We're going to pick up 8 wood, sawmill, and very happy to say that now we are looking at figuring out, where do we go from here? What a good problem to have. Where do we go from here? Beardman says, I'm just saying, we're all chatters of this live chat. You're right. This is a home for all chatters. Chattertown is a home for all chatters. I agree with that. I like that. Vexen's in chat. Hello, Vexen. Sounds like the Heroes of Might and Magic 3 faction dream. The economy is going strong. Absolutely. Window Ella says, I started playing this recently and noticed quickly if you have a strong economy, you're basically winning the game. I think so. And I don't know how much better or worse the AI does when it comes down to them trying to do their economy. I've noticed that the AI tends to struggle in getting a late game force that's especially effective, but I could be, I could just be misunderstanding a little bit. Maybe there's more to that than meets the eye. Tough to say. Okay, I kind of want to go back. I would love to just fight. I would love to just fight. I don't see anything that I can't live without for the moment, and there are dancers back here in Chattertown. And in fact, I think I'm probably going to want to pick up the maze over here for the Minotaurs. I'm going to head back to Chattertown resupply, and then I think that we're going to try and clear out not this amphitheater, but there's another amphitheater over here. Not that one, this one. That's the amphitheater. Level 2 hoplets. Yeah, we're going to take those guys out. So back here, resupply, and off we go. There's one faction law point. I'm immediately going to put that in tax collectors. Alternatives about generating additional law points. It feels bad to wait this long to get additional law points. I'm going to try and get law points through my strong economy. And with that, we're going to go on to day 4. Vexen says, yeah, the factory is about logistics and money. If you get very rich, you become very strong. They are a bit strange to play when not in use, though. You know, I don't really have a lot of experience with factories from Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Not a lot of experience, but I'm sure it's, I've heard nothing but good things. I've seen some other people do some gameplay themselves. Other people make it work exceptionally well, but I still need a little bit more experience personally. Let's see, Alina the Gnome's in the chat. Hello, Alina. Nice to have you here. Thanks for the raid. Welcome to you, and welcome to all of your friends. It's a pleasure having you. How are you? Are you well? Hope that you're doing very, very well. It's always nice to have you. How is your crafts going? Hopefully everybody's having a really nice time in your chat, and hopefully you're having a fun time playing. I didn't see what you were playing, but hopefully it was good. Zorg says, seems like the best Heroes game in a while. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it myself. And I think that the fun thing is that I haven't figured it all out yet. This is really fun to try and figure out a brand new game because there's not a lot of, I mean, let's be clear, nobody really knows what's going on. I've met a couple of people that have about 200 hours of experience in Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. That's a lot. That's a lot. But still, nobody really knows what's going on. There's still a lot of strategies and niches. So I think that it's just going to be a lot of good times to figure all this out. And I'm looking very, very much forward to doing more with it. Folks, Stinging Sword permanently increases each visiting hero's attack by 1. Let's grab that. And again, I really do want to go fight these hoplets and these fawns. I'm going to go do this. Even though there's this amphitheater right here, I think I can bounce to here, clear this out. Bounce through these swordsmen just because they're going to be easy to clear out. And these, what are you? These skittery guys. You got the gnats and you've got the locusts. Yeah. We'll have to work on taking them out as quickly as we can, but I think that I can go here first. Let's not exhaust our army against this tougher foe over here. Window Ella says and wonders, will they add wizards or something like that in the future? I think that they've got to. They absolutely have to. Give the people what they want. The people have been very vocal about what they do want here for Olden Era. And if you have a Heroes game without wizards, I think you're just setting yourself up for failure. And I think that they know that. I think that the devs are real true fans. I'm guessing that they're maybe even strategically waiting to try and release certain factions at certain times because they know that certain factions are going to make a huge splash. I'm guessing that that's what's going on, but more than that, I can't possibly say. Star says that they for sure need to add Titans. There you go. I agree with that. The AI thinks we're going to lose some forces here. I think that if we battle, we can do just a little bit better. I've always said that the early game fights are my favorite fights, and the whole reason for that is simply because the early game fights really allow you to flex your tactics and try and do the very, very best you can with small numbers. Big numbers, it's kind of hard to get a grasp on how good certain stacks are. At this point, small numbers, we can do a lot more with that. Folks, level 1 Fawn Archer, this is going to be a ranged enemy. We do have to get down the battlefield. And then the Hoplet, this is the flying melee creature. It looks like they're fairly fast. Yeah, fairly fast. I think I'm just going to hit Dark Elf stance. At first, I'm just going to defend. I'm just going to try and weather the storm from these Fawn Archers. And then we're just going to wait on this side of the battle so that these creatures' damage drop-off kind of takes effect and goes into effect. Good morale from the Minotaurs, please. Hell yeah, buddy. Something about the Minotaurs. I can just always count on Minotaurs having really, really nice morale. Maybe it's because they are eager for battle, so they always have positive morale. That sounds pretty good to me. So, Minotaurs. Do I want to attack these hoplets? I am going to lose at least one Minotaur, probably 2. Minotaurs, 50 HP. I will definitely lose at least 1, maybe 2. So I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna wait. Just gonna wait. Because if I get closer, I'll take the full damage from the Fawn Archers, and I'll take the damage here. Let's do some defensive maneuvers, and let's see where it goes. So we lost 4 of the dancers there. Ouch. Doesn't feel great. Spreading the defensive shred. We're down to 2 defense here. We're down to 2 defense here. I'm gonna wait. Split the damage. Very good. Split the damage. Our enemies officially have no more defense, which is always ideal. And then I'm going to use my full stack. Do you want to go for the archers? It looks like I'm going to get the chance to have the Minotaurs go down the battlefield and do something nifty there. So tell you what, let's do full damage to these hoplets. Try and save the damage onto the Minotaurs as we kill 7 to 9.
Once.
Oh, there you go. There's one Minotaur. So we would have lost 2 Minotaurs, I think, if we didn't just do what we did. And then just because the hoplets are pretty good creatures, I'm going to do my heroic strike on them instead of the fawns. I think that the 4 Minotaurs can potentially fight that fight without losing a single force. Let's go from defense into the Minotaur stance. So defense with the Dark Elf stance, attack with the Minotaur stance. And let's kill 5 to 9 of the hoplets with our infiltrators. We kill 7, not bad. 1 goes down in retaliation, another 3 total after they get their damage off. Let's do another heroic strike. Our focus bar is filling up nicely. Down to 27 of the fawns, 27. We're going to kill a couple. Oh, and of course, though, the fawns do retaliate. So they've got this parry ability. So they will always counterattack before the enemy attack lands, which is always nice. So it makes them kind of good for a tier 1 creature in that regard. A ranged creature that does get to take that first swipe. Unfortunately, even 20-something couldn't kill one single Minotaur. We're going to get out of this fight pretty well. So the losses were way better this time than they were before, I think. I feel like 1, 4, and 3. I feel like we fought that fight better. And maybe more importantly, we're going to level up. Basic resistance. So increased magical resistance. Basic siegecraft for additional damage against enemy castles, or expert triumvirate strength. Folks, this is what it's all about. I love expert triumvirate strength. We just hit a huge level up. If you can get expert triumvirate strength by level 3, you can do so much more clearing the adventure map for this reason. Jack of all trades is really, really nice. That's not what I love, though. Flow is what I love. +1 focus charges when selecting a stance. If you have flow, every single time you change your stance, you will get 1 full focus charge. That means you get 1 full free heroic strike, if nothing else. Not to mention you get to use your abilities more often. I love flow. I love focus charges. I love playing around with it. I think that this is perfect for us. Yes, selecting a stance, the hero's corresponding attribute increases by 1 until the end of the battle. Very, very good. Yes. Flow is even better. Not balanced in the slightest. And we're going to pick up 10 of these dancers for our trouble, split off a single stack, and then back we go, fighting more fights. The enemy's fleeing, destroy them. Even if we take some losses, it's still going to be worth it to me to fight. I think that the experience early on is going to be worthwhile. Bearded Man says, I mean, they have to add Titans. We need Titans. Could not agree more with you. Could not agree more. And Window L agrees as well, that they think that they're the staple heroes archetypes that are missing from the game currently. It's great that they've added Schism and put a spin on Inferno so that we are getting something new as well, though. But if those make it into the game, this will feel very complete. I agree. I think that you have to have barbarians and you gotta have a wizard faction. Those are kind of 2 non-negotiables for me. Like absolutely non-negotiable in my opinion. Folks, we're gonna skip all the way around. Looks like starting next turn, we are gonna get the infiltrators to go first. So I'm not gonna worry about doing a masterful start at this point. We are gonna spread the damage. Not once, but twice. And note that when we chose our stance, we got a heroic strike. We're going to use that on definitely these creepy crawlies. So the overgrown locust, they're a little bit more defensive. They got more HP and such, right? They do have a double strike though. So they strike twice. They get a counter attack. These guys are pretty tough. I don't know if I prefer the overgrown locust or the other upgrade, but not my favorite. And then of course the Ravager Gnat, tier 1. This is the upgraded tier 1 creature for the Hive faction. We're going to continue to just split our damage. Already, you look at this fight and you say, I wonder how the AI lost so many forces. It feels like we're going to do just fine here. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. We've got 8 spell points left. I'm going to save this Masterful early start. If I did cast it on these dancers, though, I wouldn't take any damage. I'm just going to tank a little bit of damage. I will accept a little bit of damage here. So we're going to defend. We're going to do a Dark Elf stance. So we're going to go into defense. That's going to give us a heroic charge strike. Get out of my game. And I'm just going to wait. Oh, wait, we have Battlecraft. I should have defended. Thankfully, it looks like it's not really going to matter too much. Nah, if we had defended, we would have actually saved, I think, 1 infiltrator. So Phixfox got a little bit careless, didn't think it through, but that would have been a good time with the Battlecraft to get a little bit of additional defensive stats. 1 infiltrator goes down, not too bad. Raiders Camp will give gold and possibly valuable artifacts after defeating its guard. I think we can defeat these guys. Never mind, no way. Halflings are actually kind of they're not a good unit, but these halflings combined with these guys are insane. These guys are like gorillas, and they just punch you in the face again and again and again and again. I forget what these guys are called. I wish that bonus for the devs, it would be really nice if you just had a little indication, like if I can mouse over it and it would tell me what the creature is. That would help me out because like I know that these guys are tough. I've seen them in battle. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to mess with them. but I don't know what they're called, and that'd be nice for me just so I could learn the game better. Tooltips will come later, I'm sure. But folks, we're going to abdicate. We're going to run away from that fight. We're going to come back another day. And we're going to go on to Motley, letting her do some scouting. It looks like this is not a passable bit of terrain here. I thought that this was passable, and so I was kind of heading in that direction. Looks like it's not. So everything else, I think that we're just going to kind of scroll in this area. Not quite what I had in mind. I was a little bit inefficient with my movement points because I thought that I could get over here through this. Looks like the answer to that is no. I could always hit X, and that'll show you maybe... Yeah, nope, this was just impassable terrain there. But even if this was passable, it looks like that the Ravager Gnats would have been in my way. So pretty interesting there. We got 2,900 gold, 20 wood. I think that means that we should go for one of our... If we can click correctly, we'll go for our Byzantine Palace in Chattertown. Yes, Byzantine Palace 2, extra 500 gold, extra 1,000 law points per day. Let's do that. It's day 5, so I'd like to get some additional dwellings out there, but gold is really, really scarce. I don't have any recourse. I'm going to go with the tax collectors. I'm going to go with the gold, but from here on out, I'm going to save it till we get 3 for leaders of the nation. And with that, that'll take us on to day 6. And oh no, it was not. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I saw in the corner of my eye. I thought it was Alina. I'm so sorry. It was Inani Anime TV rating. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I thought you were somebody else. I'm so sorry. I am so embarrassed. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Greetings and salutations. You were playing Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era as well. Just won a game on single hero mode with Dungeon Faction. Fantastic. How do you like the Dungeon Faction? Hopefully the Dungeon Faction is doing well for you. Hopefully it's everything that you wanted it to be and more. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's a fun game, but it's nice that every faction is going to play differently for every certain sort of people. Like, you're going to have your own favorites. I'm going to have my favorites. You're going to have your sort of play styles that you're going to enjoy more. And maybe Dungeon like really jives with you. Maybe it's something that you really enjoy. And maybe like Temple is more your style. I'm still figuring out what my style is, but hopefully you're enjoying your Dungeon Faction playthrough. Wonderful. We're going to do this battle. Jackson says, gameplay for Factory can be like in the early game. This is Factory from Heroes of Might and Magic 3, Horn of the Abyss. Take a loan from the bank, pay back the loan, build, buy, sell, trade, resources at the market, recruit a bit of units, and sometimes, but in the late game, you become kind of a walking firewall. Oh, okay. See, yeah, and that's a nuance I don't really have just yet, because I'm still haven't played enough Factory. You think I would have by now. You think I would have played tons of Factory. But no, not yet. At some point we should. I would like to say at some point we will, but heck, I still need to play the Might and Magic games, and that's still a far cry away. So, due to the speed of these creatures, as you can tell, they're not going to be able to reach. You can just mouse over, you can see their bubble. I'm going to go to the Minotaur stance again, because that's going to give me another free heroic strike. Oof. Then, are you at negative defense? They are at negative defense. It doesn't matter who attacks or where attacks. We're down to 13, down to 12. By the time that these guys get right into range, yeah, this shouldn't even be a fight. 8 to 12 of these guards are going to go down. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. You think that the AI would just fight that fight a little bit better in that way? I don't know how the AI calculates how the fight should go. I have no idea. But that always seems a little bit weird to me, that they try and send all your melee forces down the battlefield to engage in combat when that's not ideal. Folks, basic defense, basic Nightshade magic, advanced battlecraft. I like schools of magic. So sue me. I think that Nightshade magic is exceptional. Flat percentages from defense is really, really good. I mean, it's got some nice secondary skills, some nice sub skills, but Nightshade magic I think can go an awful long way for us. We're going to take the basic Nightshade magic, and that's going to allow us to learn tier 3 spells in the future. I know for sure, by the way, we can't defeat this uncanny right. Get gold and Mercury if you defeat the guard. Yeah, this is going to be Schism faction forces and a Lich. Oh, it's all about summoning? Maybe this is about summoning. Whatever the case is, it's weird that you have Liches mixed in with these Schism faction forces. We're going to retreat for now. It says we can maybe win. I'm not going to try it. But I do want to figure out about this. Looks like we're going to have to defeat... Oh my goodness, what are you? The tier 4, the Murmurwood Elves? Murmurmancers. We're going to have to defeat the Murmurmancers from the Sylvan faction in order to get some of these Phoenixes. But this is looking like a one-time creature bank. If we defeat these creatures, then we get the Phoenixes. We're going to keep a close eye on that. We'll come back to this later. But this will be the first time I ever fight the Murmurmancers. This will be a first time. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Okay, we're gonna take some losses here. I'm not gonna love it. It's gonna be fine. I'm going to combine one of these creatures here just so I have a single stack. And let's go fight. Battle, level up, excitement, fun. Throw to the Blind says Minotaurs appearing in every game. Heroes 1, yes. Heroes 2, yes. Heroes 3, yes. Heroes 4, yes. Heroes 5 and beyond, all right. Appearing in every game, and I'm never disappointed to see them, at least in the games I've played. Heroes 2, 3, and 4. That's a good way of putting it. I really, really like that. Yeah, good stuff. Nutchakoti asks, the Phixfox, how many law points do heroes give you? I can't see it anywhere on their card. So I think it's dependent upon how many forces you defeat. So as you fight in battle, as you do damage, you are going to get more points, I believe. So when you win battles, you get more points. Just sitting at home is not going to give you any amount of points, but more than that, I wish I knew. I don't think I could say more than that. Okay, these R8 dancers, they do have a high initiative, 9 initiative. Feels like a lot. We're gonna, let's see, how do we do this? Masterful early start. I think we're just gonna immediately cast that here. So that, oh, that's still gonna put us just under. I should have thought about that. So 9 initiative, 8 initiative, that was kind of a waste. I do want to stay away from these troglodytes. There's gonna be a bunch of them. We're gonna jet down the battlefield. I'm gonna do, let's see. Do I want to avoid damage one more time or do I want to attack? I think I just want to get some damage off. Since I've already eaten damage this round, let's just do the Minotaur stance. We're up to 10 attack skill. It's pretty good. This will give us a heroic strike. Let's go for this bottom stack. 12 down to 9, and then we'll spread our damage between the 2 stacks of 15. That feels pretty good to me. Troglodytes are not going to be able to reach us with our long reach attack, which is just the way I like it. I probably should have devoted at least one shot to these troglodytes. Every amount of defense reduction is good. Every single one. But anyway, we're down to 36, 34, 32 of our dancers. Not great. Because I can't reach these dancers here, I almost wonder if I ought to use the infiltrator just to take the retaliation from this troglodyte. Looks like we can reach with everybody but our troglodytes here. Their 99 are going to go before mine. I think that we don't have any more masterful start points. I completely fumbled that. My bad. So tell you what, we're going to attack with this one single stack. That means that we're not going to eat the retaliation onto, well, at least the Minotaurs. See, the problem is that troglodytes, let's see, do they have, no, it's their upgrade that has 2 retaliations. So thankfully that did take the retaliation. I can reach right now. And if I reach the next turn, I'll be able to jump here. I should be able to go there. Let's do it. Let's do some damage. Damage can never be a bad thing. That's not true. That's absolutely not true, but it sounds correct to me. And how much more defense? Yeah, I'm not going to waste any defense by attacking here. I'm going to use my single stacks in a second though to do some damage to the troglodytes. Okay, 13 goes down, 76. Nice. Let's use this good morale. Let's start to do some damage. I think I'm just going to work on this stack of 5 here. Let's just take out this full stack of 5. Gone. Dead. Okay, good. And now we'll spread the damage to the troglodytes and the other forces. Okay, we're about to take a bunch of damage from these troglodytes. Don't love this. Oof. Oh, that's not too bad. Only 5? Well, that's not too bad. I thought it was going to be way worse than that. Oh, alrighty. I could do another stance. Right now we're still in the attack. I'm going to just stick it in attack. I'm just going to keep it here. I think I had an opportunity when the Minotaurs went. I could have turned that into defense. That probably would have saved me a couple forces. Opportunity for growth in future moments. Let's call it that for now. Are we going to lose another infiltrator? We don't, even though we get the good morale off. Let's do oodles of damage. Not once. Twice. We'll go into defense now so we don't lose as many creatures here or here. And with only 18 troglodytes left, this enemy is going to barely not kill an Onyx Dancer. Do you think that the 2 defense mattered there? Or it was way more, actually. We're getting +6 defense. As you level up Triumvirate Strength, you get more defense. So we're doing exceptionally well there. The numbers actually matter. We're at 9 defense right now. Go to attack, 4 up to 10. Yeah, it matters a lot. So we're going to get out of this fight. Happy for it. And even though it costs us 13 of these dancers, this is going to be a long-term opportunity to pick up additional dancers from this amphitheater. Okay, folks, Advanced Battlecraft, which we know what that does. It gives you additional stats when you wait and defend. Friendly creatures taking and dealing additional damage. Okay. at range or at melee. Overwatch, if you choose to wait in battle, then you get the Overwatch ability, so you'll counterattack when enemies move into their melee range. That's interesting. I haven't seen that be very effective so far. This actually works really, really well with the Guardian Griffins from the Temple faction, because the Griffins there will already retaliate against enemies that attack nearby foes. So it's really good there, because then if enemies walk by the Griffin stack again, then they're going to do even more. Battle focus, additional focus charges in the beginning of the round, preemptive strikes. Alternatively, you have basic diplomacy, trading neutral armies for gold instead of fighting them. Not bad. And then basic recruitment, growth in cities. Growth in cities. I'm going to go with basic diplomacy. I don't think I've played a really good diplomacy game so far. I've tried out Ilwari and I've tried out Ilwari and King of Kings a couple of times from the Dungeon faction, from the Necropolis faction. I'm going to try diplomacy here just with a secondary hero who doesn't really specialize in this, because I'm just excited to see what that'll do, how it'll go. And honestly, I don't know. And so I'm excited to find out. Okay, where to go, what to do. I think that's obvious to me that we're going to pick up this Learning Stone. We're going to go grab a little bit of maybe forces in Chattertown, because we're going to try and get some additional growth since it's day 6. Byzantine Palace 3. Can't buy anything else. No Warren, no Safe House. Labyrinth is out because we're missing ore. We need 6 ore for that. Okay. Yeah, I think that Byzantine Palace makes a lot of sense here. And then over yonder, now we're just out of resources. 2 wood, 4 ore. Right now we are only getting 2 wood, 0 ore, 0 gems, 0 crystals, 0 mercury per day. 4,000 gold. That's not bad, but we need to focus on finding ore, because we are officially way behind. Waiting on this Leaders of the Nation. Where is our ore? It's guarded by these guys. Okay, skeletons. Alrighty. Well, at least there's an opportunity to pick some of that up pretty quickly anyway. Yeah, pretty quickly. Okay. Alright, folks, that's going to take us on to the new day. And dungeon, Not Shody says the dungeon is your favorite by far. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, and thank you so much. You're so very kind, Inani Anima TV. Don't worry, I thought I misheard it anyway. Thank you. I'm so glad. I appreciate it. You're very, very kind. Oh man. I don't have a high level of social anxiety, but I do feel bad when I speak incorrectly and I don't give people their dues. The nicest thing you can do is get somebody's name right. So thank you very much. I appreciate your kindness. Chakoti says, still need to try the Temple faction though. I think that they're pretty good. I would give that a shot. I'd give that a shot. Window Ellis says, I feel like you're capped at +1 law point a day in this game, no matter what your actual growth is. You think in this template that's only 1 per day? So you're thinking that like Leaders of the Nation isn't going to help me because +1 per day? I'm still going to go for it because I don't have. I wish that there was like a way I could check in game, like have like stats. Other Heroes games, you have like a scenario feedback and you can see, oh, what's the difficulty I'm playing on? What is, my template? What map am I on, etc., etc. I don't think you really have that in Olden Era yet. Doesn't hurt my feelings too bad. They're still working on a lot of stuff, but all the same, will be nice to have in the future. Okay, I'm gonna ignore the Whispering Stones. I'm gonna take out these troglodytes. This +3 to 5 mercury per week, that should be pretty good. Alternatively, if I get 5 to 8 additional ore, if I just go straight for that, what will I be able to get? 5 to 8 additional ore, that would be, no, that's not going to be enough to get the Labyrinth because I'm going to be short 1 wood. So not great there. And the other Castle of Chatterton, really not going to be good there. If I can get 1 crystal and 1 wood, then I can get my Medusas. So if I actually trade, if I find 1 wood, if I find 1 wood, I want to go for these Medusa. Let's actually just like hunt for 1 wood. Motley, can you find any amount of wood for me? Looks like this is, I'm just going to take 1 step closer. This is a dead end? That's a dead end. Okay. And I don't think that she's going to find any wood up here. Not in time anyway. Is there any other wood around here that I might have missed? Iridescent Abbey. Golden gems. Golden mercury. So there's no banks nearby I can really take just for wood. This is too far away. Polaris is not going to be able to reach here to pick up the wood from the wood storage. So I don't think that it actually hurts me to go out of my way to pick up the Mercury instead of going for the ore mine. I should have gotten the ore mine day one. Wait, hold on. What if I can hit the fountain? Fountain gives plus 40 movement points this turn. That could be enough to go defeat these phantasms. And then we can pick up the wood, and then that'll be plus 1 wood, and that can get us our Medusa in week 1. I believe that'll be Medusa here, yeah? Stilled voices. Yeah, still need 1 crystal, though. We find 1 crystal anywhere. Depending on how much wood this is, 6 to 10 wood, we only need 1 wood for the Medusa. If we get... if we get 6 wood, we can purchase the marketplace in the other castle, and then we can trade for the 1 crystal. It'll be expensive. How expensive will it be? How much gold for 1 resource? I don't know the answer, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to ignore this easy Mercury. I'm going to ignore the skeleton archers for now. We're going to go fight this phantasm fight. If I lose this fight, I'm going to feel really silly because I think I recognize that this is a fight I can totally lose. I can totally lose this fight if I'm not careful. Especially with no spell points. Yeah, but I do got the strategy. Okay, all right, let's give this a shot. If Phixfox loses, so be it, but we should have just enough movement points here to make this happen. I think it's going to say that we lose. It says we win. Let's fight the fight to do even better. But let's fight this fight, and let's pick up the wood, and let's see if we can trade for the 1 crystal and get the right amount of wood here. So starting off the battle, it's going to be multiple stacks of these phantasms. So upgraded tier 2 creature, melee, flying, memory devour. This is a special ability, so it will convert damage dealt into additional hit points. That makes these creatures closer to the ghost from Heroes 2 than Heroes 3, or like the whites from Heroes 3 rather. And then nightmares. This is I think it's a targeted ability. I think it requires focus points, but cursed enemies will take additional damage. Okay, let's stay away from that if at all possible. Let's go immediately into Minotaur stance. 10 attack, lovely. And we'll do our first heroic strike. Let's work on this top stack. We will focus the ranged damage on these 2 stacks initially. We're just gonna wait. Here they come with no good morale possible. I'm gonna set the Minotaurs in front of my carry stack. I'll wait, why not? And then let's see. Here we go. Start the damage parade. 1 and 2. How much defense do these guys have? These stacks have only got 1 defense left. I'm gonna wait here. I'm gonna do this. Start to work on these stacks here. So this stack has no defense. This is the one that my big stack should target. 21. You don't want to waste the damage. You just want to do damage. 10 to 15. 13 to 19. Let's do this. I don't want to waste the damage and just kill a whole stack. It's nice that the Minotaurs, by the way, got this turn, because now when I hit defense, when I hit defend or skip turn, they should get the defense bonus from the battlecraft. And let's see how much damage these guys do. Let's just defend. Dark Elf stance. Let's plan on taking a whole bunch of damage right now. Heroic strike. Here. 6 go down. We'll wait instead of defend. A little bit of damage. Okay. We're going to lose at least 2 Minotaurs, I think. 5 Troglodytes goes down from that big stack of 20-something at the bottom. I've got a little bit of a double hex attack here I could set up for myself. I'm going to wait and let the Jasper Dancers, or rather the Onyx Dancers, do their job. You've got a job. Do your job. Just do your job. Here and here. And I've officially, in case you're wondering, I've officially lost track of where the negative defense is. I don't know. I might have just doubled up on accident. My bad. So be it. And that right there, we took some damage from this Nightmare's ability. So we took the 8 pure damage. Doesn't feel great, but understandable. Have a nice day. If I do the ranged attack, I can kill this creature. Let's just kill 5 to 8 here. Let's just hope we kill the whole stack. We do. Pretty good. Defend. And I'm going to stay in front of the Dancers because they just do the most damage. I will take out 1 stack of the Phantasms. And already it feels like this is not too bad. Like, with this Triumvirate Strength, I feel super strong. Let's go 5 to 8. The additional stats alone, not to mention getting free heroic strikes left and right, like, it feels so good just to get 1 expert sub-skill. I guess that the question is always going to be, is it better to have multiple basic skills for a hero, or is it better to have a couple of, or rather 1 expert skill? I think you'd always much rather have one single expert skill. If you get the opportunity to get an advanced or an expert secondary skill, I think you should take that over most basic secondary skills. The exception being things like logistics and like the schools of magic. I think the schools of magic, logistics, I think that those two are exceptionally powerful. I think you should always take those if you get the opportunity. So here, I'm going to go with the logistics. I think that logistics is an S tier skill, especially on single hero modes, but even on this classic mode, we're going to go with basic logistics. And folks, we did it. We got 4 wood. We're up to 14 wood. So let's not mess this up because we need 1 crystal, right? We need 1 crystal. Let's purchase the marketplace. Good, good. Let's go to the marketplace. How much gold does it cost? 2,000. Oh, it's so expensive. Are we going to have enough gold to get the Medusa? 1,700 gold. That's so cheap. That is so cheap. I'm fine with that. So we need the 1 crystal right there. Oof. I'm gonna do it. We've invested in gold for a reason. And then do we actually need 1 additional ore? We do not. Folks, that's it. Week 1, extra Medusa. That feels pretty good. This chapel is Stilled Voices. Very happy for it. This feels like it was a pretty good first week. And we had an opportunity to just, I don't know, I don't want to say fumble our turn. This felt like the most correct thing we could have done with our turn. So I'm very happy we did that. We're going to set ourselves up to pick up this pile of books for the additional XP for all of next week. We're going to grab that on day 1. We're going to grab the Knowledge Garden. We're probably going to swing down and grab some additional dancers, troops, and then head up and clear everything out. We do need the ore though. Here, back. We got only 2 hero slots. Motley is up here doing whatever. I think it's just time to hit end turn and see where this all falls. Whew, very good. But Inani does like Heroes of Might and Magic 2, the dungeon factions. Oh yeah, since Heroes of Might and Magic 2, you like the dungeon faction the most, but you dabble in other factions. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that prefer to dabble. I know in competitive games like StarCraft, for example, you have the choice between Terran, Zerg, and Protoss, and a lot of people would just focus on one faction. They're like, this is who I play, right? There's something to be said about specializing, whether it's Civilization, StarCraft, or any competitive game. Specialization helps you play it at a higher level, right? But I think that in Olden Era, you're going to find a lot of people that just tend to try to play every faction pretty well, as opposed to one faction exceptionally well. That's just what I think. I could be wrong. We'll be excited to find out and just see what people do in the future. Okay. After a week's worth of growth, these skeletons are a little bit tougher than they were before. I don't love it. Don't hate it. We'll pick up the fountain in just a second, but let's fight this fight. We need our ore mine. Let's take our losses and just go from there. Star says, I'd love to see you try out the Temple Hero AOC Exalted. He increases the chance of morale, triggering, and scales, in my opinion, better than almost every other hero. I think I like that idea. I decided today that we were just gonna play whatever the dice roll decided we would play, and I don't dislike that, but we already played a dungeon game. I was kind of hoping we'd play something else today. Oh well, these things do happen. I'm gonna get the damage off with my ranged creatures because I do want to avoid taking more damage than I ought to. Looks like that's gonna be about 32 of those skeletons. Bottom stack of skeletons, we're going to start the heroic strikes down there. And then I think that they're out of defense. Yeah, they're out of defense already. So I'm going to start to shred over here with these other dancers. I'm waiting on all my melee troops so that we take reduced damage from afar. That was 3 dancers, another 3 dancers, 4 dancers. Okay. Didn't love that. Let's avoid that. I wish I had a haste. I wish I had a speed buff of any kind. As soon as we go back home, we should get a mage guild. Like as soon as we can. That is going to be a priority for me. We were in the Dark Elf defensive stance. We're going to go into the Minotaur stance and just try and not tank the damage, but just be the danger. This stack here, middle stack should take the damage. Let's work on the 67. Nice. And then rather than do the damage with this infiltrator and then take the retaliation, we're just going to sit right there. So that way they can't get their ranged damage off. Alternatively, should we do the same thing with these 7 infiltrators? It's not a lot. I don't think that we're going to lose in the retaliation. We're not going to lose the full stack because ranged attack and melee damage. We'll get the damage off. I don't think that they're going to kill 7 on retaliation, especially not when we get good luck and we reduce them down to 35. That feels excellent. All right, good morale. Hey, Minotaurs are just clutch. What can I say except you're welcome. Way to go, Minotaurs. I don't know what that means for these stacks here. I don't know if this group of archers is going to go down and try and defeat Minotaurs. I'm guessing that they will. I'm guessing that they'll try to. I could be wrong. Okay, you still have some defense. Okay. I'd like to protect here if I can. Protect here if I can. And I don't think that the defense matters anymore. I think that everybody's taking the damage. At this point, the beatings will continue until morale improves, and there's just nothing else for it. Okay. Oh, very nice. So only one infiltrator goes down there. Lovely. And it looks like it's going to be the troglodytes that get completely surrounded. 30 down to 22. So we lose about 8 there. Not my favorite thing, but it'll be fine. And we're still on this damage kick, as opposed to changing up our style. I'm going to do my heroic strike to this top stack and let the minotaurs finish off 42 of these skeletons. I guess I could have done the double hex AoE damage attack there. I think that the dancers can handle this though. Pretty confident that they can. One full stack, 30 to 35. Perfect. We'll spread some damage this way. Because I'm about to take some damage, I guess I can go into the Dark Elf stance. The damage from one dancer is not going to be that good. 5 to 15, tell you what. Let's just try and kill this stack here. We do. Troglodytes down to 20. And this is the point, folks, right now. This is the point where I wish I had a queue function, like in Born of the Abyss or Heroes of Might and Magic 2. You're able to finish a fight from whatever point you're at. At this point, I just need to clean up the fight and not misclick. Just saying. And so I'd like to be able to just hit Q and let the auto battle take it from whatever position I'm at. Just do the math for me. Do your best. Oh, misclicks are everywhere today. And then from there, we'll figure it out. But I would like that in the future. We'll see. I'm sure that the devs have got a lot of other things that they're working on at the moment. So praise be to the developer that has many sleepless nights and does the very, very best they can to keep us all happy. We sure appreciate that. I could go to the left. It looks like there's some free gold here. There's some ore here, though. I'll go for the ore for the moment. Anywhere I scout is good scouting. 1,500 gold from that chest. And look at this. Chimerologist allows visiting heroes to trade creatures for other random creatures. I do like this. This is a really cool thing. I've not really used this much, but this is a cool adventure map object. I do like that. And if we do defeat 100 Dread Knights, then we can have a Pandora's box as well. Very interesting. I do want this alchemical dust storage. Dungeon Faction has got 2 opportunities to pick up lots of alchemical dust. You can pick up a one-time bonus of 50 here and then a one-time bonus of 100 here. It seems kind of broken to me, but it's still nice to have those alchemical dust free opportunities. So we'll consider that in just a moment or two. I could do, let's see, Jadame maps for additional movement points, ore or no ore, -20 ore cost. We can upgrade this not once but twice. I could start to work on some of my other creatures. Reduce magic damage, improve the troglodytes, improve the infiltrators, improve the dancers, improve the growth in my cities. I think that -20% ore, given how little ore I've had, is actually going to be fairly useful. So let's do that for now. Then let's work on getting into these Jadame maps. Maybe we just focus on getting additional growth for the dancers. 3 faction points, 3 faction points. For now, we're gonna hope we can get into Dungeon Master 3 quickly, but it'll take a while, I'm sure. Okay, so Motley, continue on, explore some more for me, please. And what does she find? Hey, more ore. Very good. Very good. Another goblin cache. These have been money for us. We've gotten a lot of resources from these nearby goblin caches. Been very happy for that. We got the opportunity for the bank. I'm still focusing on my economy. Doesn't matter if I get a dwelling at the moment. It's not that it's bad or good. It's just that it's day 1. So I'm not going to really need to worry about that until like day 5-ish. Byzantine Palace 3. Picking that up immediately. That mostly bankrupts us, but that's why we have the gold that we have. And then on to a new day. All right, let me get caught up on chat. Everybody's favorite part of a Phixfox stream is me getting caught up on chat. I know, because I can't play and read chat at the same time. Someday I'll be better at that. Bearded Man says, something I find odd about Olden Era terrain is how smooth it is. In Heroes 2, it had a lot more texture, which allowed the various features to blend together a lot better. I don't disagree with that. I wonder if part of this is my settings on my computer. Hold on, what do I got? What am I at right now? Settings, video, quality. I'm on high. I'm as high as I can go right now. So this is actually about as good a quality as you're going to find. The funny thing is when I put this down to like low quality or medium quality, I don't really notice a difference personally, but there is a little bit of this kind of like smoothed out texture. I think the part of it is so that adventure map objects and creatures stand out a bit more. Like I think that the cliffs, for example, I think that they're specifically made to be more smooth so that your eyes slide past them and look at other objects. I wonder if that is a purposeful design feature. I could be wrong, but this is just the thought I have immediately. I don't know. I'll be excited to find out. I'll be excited to see what other changes they make over time. But I don't think that there's a more gritty texture, if that makes any sense. But I think that you're onto something there. Windowella says that they feel like it's fine. The game has a bit more detail overload as it is. I do wonder, as we get more acquainted with these games, like with Heroes 3, a lot of people can look at a game of Heroes 3 and they know instantly, just from one snapshot, they know exactly what's going on in that game because you've played it so much and you're so used to it, you know what you're looking for. I imagine that as we play Olden Era more, that we as players are going to be more comfortable with it and we will notice things in a different way over time. That's what I anticipate. Frodo says the diplomacy is overpowered like in Heroes Might and Magic 2. No, not on apocalyptic difficulty. So when I play with diplomacy on normal difficulty or like easy difficulty, then yes, I feel like basic diplomacy is a little bit broken. In apocalyptic difficulty, I'm fighting for resources so much right now that I think that it's very much less valuable because I don't have the spare resources. I think that in some ways you're incentivized to use your faction specific troops. You can blend in neutral creatures, of course, yes, good and fine, but I think that there is some incentive, let's say, to use my own forces. So diplomacy, I still think it's exceptionally good. Don't hear me and think, oh, Phixfox thinks it's bad. But I do think it's just, it's good. It's good. More than that, what can I say? Okay, single stacks, because I like my single stacks. Infiltrators are in. Folks, 6 of these Medusa, we're about to go crush some people. In fact, yeah, it says we can maybe defeat the enemies in this pyre. We'll come back for this later. But I think I can probably defeat is it a chimera? I forget what the creature is. Coatl? I think it's a coatl. Let's go try and pick up some gold here. We are out of gold. I'm not going to spend anything for this building today. We're still saving up for other things with faction law points. On to a new day. And then Nachikati. I am so sad that this game won't be on Mac. Would be perfect as a game to play on your laptop. Maybe they will at some point. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know the answer, but hopefully somebody can. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew what to tell you. I don't have any experience with Macs and Mac or Linux or anything like that. I'm grateful that people out there are enjoying those things and that they know more about than I do. But yeah. You know more about than I do. Folks, 12 initiative, primal stubbornness, negative effects do not stay on this creature longer than 1 round. You can't web this creature. You just have to kill them before they attack you. So we're going to go into Minotaur stance. And let's see, what's our initiative? It's 12, right? Yeah, we don't have a creature that's even close to that. 5 initiative, 6 initiative. I think that my infiltrators are maxed. Yeah, even with +2, they would only be up to 8. Yeah, all right, that's not going to do it for me. But by choosing a stance here, we do get the heroic strike off. Oof. And I'm going to cover up, let's see, I'm going to cover up my creatures as best as I can. I'm going to go to here. We're going to just defend on the Minotaur. And I don't know, I kind of want to, no, I want to protect the Medusa. I'm going to have this creature. I'm going to have them wait. I'm going to have the troglodytes step up, and we're going to cover up this big stack of dancers. So let's do full damage here with this dancer. -1 defense. Nice. The Coatl is not going to come down. There's no sense in waiting. No, there is a sense in waiting. We have Battlecraft. So even though they've waited till the end of the round, if I wait, this creature should get an additional effect. They should get additional damage due to the Battlecraft. I think that's how that works. Maybe? Question mark? I don't know. Medusa are a lovely unit, by the way. If you've never seen them, ranged attacker, sharpshooter, full damage at any range. Love it. Barrage, arrow barrage. I love this fighting style. Super sweet. AoE damage. Awesome. Folks, look how much damage we're doing. We're down to only 5 of these Coatls left. Not too bad. And then rather than take the -1 defense here, I'm just going to step up and keep my stacks alive. Oh no, we lost 19 troglodytes. That's way better than the alternative. Okay, and 2 Minotaurs. All right, that wasn't great, but okay, these things do happen. Damage. Defend. Damage. Lots of damage. Bye. I don't know if this was worth the gold, though. 2 Minotaurs, 19 troglodytes. Oh, folks, you gotta go for daylight magic. Folks, if you were to rank the magics in Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, how would you rank them? What's number one? What's number four? I would say, in my personal opinion, I've got daylight magic as tier one. I've got Nightshade as number two. I've got Arcane as number three, and I've got Primal as number four. That's my personal opinion on the matter. Because daylight magic is so good at buffing your forces, and in the late game, that's never going to go out of style. It's always going to be good. The bigger your enemy, or rather, the bigger your forces get, the better daylight magic becomes. Nightshade magic, it's just really good at tripping up the enemy. Really nice for that. Arcane magic, it's got some nice utility spells in it. I really enjoy that. And Primal magic, I just feel like the damage kind of drops off over time. I could be wrong, but this is how I feel at the moment, and therefore, rather than go for the advanced Nightshade, I'm going to go for basic daylight. Yeah, 4,500 gold. Was that worth 2 Minotaurs? Sure, why not? Okay, I said I was going to read chat, and then I kept playing. Let me continue. Oh, let's fight this fight. I can read chat and defeat some troglodytes. Let's do that. Not Chick Cody says, I love how you explain everything so well. Perfect streamer for a new player to the series. Thank you. That's so very kind of you. So it's funny because my whole streaming style really came from the time I spent in Heroes of Might and Magic 2. So I started off on YouTube, and I started off just having a lot of fun, and I didn't really plan on being a YouTuber or being a streamer. I was just kind of explaining and doing kind of these faction guides. And as I learned more about the Heroes 2 game from other people who were very nice and commented and helped me out, Zents, shout out to you, I improved myself. And as I played the game, I was able to talk myself through and do an even better job. And so even though I don't consider myself an expert on Olden Era yet, I'd like to be someday, I recognize that, hey, that style of speaking has still kind of persisted with me, and I don't regret that at all. I really don't. So thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate that. As I've said before, I've always relied on the kindness of strangers. Okay, these guys have got no defense. These guys have got a little bit of defense. Let's spread over here. I think I'm going to continue to do full damage. No, I'm going to wait one more turn here. I'm going to wait because there's a possibility I'm going to get one more round off before these troglodytes actually reach my forces. Yeah, we're just going to wait one more turn. How about that? Because the chance of them getting good morale, it's possible. It's not very likely. 72 to 101 of these troglodytes. We killed 93. And now I absolutely overwhelm your forces. Woof. Woof. Sucks to be you. Get out of my game. Okay. But no losses. Good fight. Good fight. We're going to pick up the Mercury for the +3 Mercury. There's a windmill here. And remember, this whole thing, we're just trying to get back up to our main castle. It's really nice that this fountain for +40 movement points is right here along the main road. That is nice. I don't think I realized how nice that was until just now. The well is here. If I pick this up, I won't have to worry about having a mage guild here. I think I want to invest in the mage guild. With 2 schools of magic under my belt, I think I want to do that in a second. 10 coatls. We can. So we shall. We can, so we shall. Okay. It just feels like a lot of coatls. Window says, also, obviously, they're going to do a lot of updates and balance changes, but I hope that they don't do it all too much and we end up with something overbalanced and bland. Things should be allowed to be a bit OP in certain ways. What a good comment. I really appreciate that comment. One of the things I really appreciated as I was doing my video, mostly everything we need to know about Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, that video took place all the way back in March of this year, is that Alexandria, the narrative director, she indicated that she's like, there is some question about, balance, should things be perfectly balanced? And the go-to answer would be yes, but the devs feel strongly that there's fun in imbalance and there's fun in having different play styles, which is such a really cool way of looking at it. I just think that that's perfect because, yeah, there's always going to be fun in different play styles. There's always going to be fun in doing things in a new, fun way. Yeah, I think that it's smart to say that if everything is perfectly balanced, that's actually a negative. Believe it or not, that's actually a drawback. Who would have thought? But I think that that's accurate. And so what you're saying is actually fitting their philosophy very, very nicely. Dr. Cody, which faction do I find the strongest so far? He asks. You ask. Strongest so far. Man, it depends on the... it depends. It depends on the template. I think that Dungeon is really powerful. on single hero mode because in the faction lodge you get access to the alchemical dust for free. I think Schism is really, really nice generally, and the way it can help shut down your opponent. I think that Schism is going to be really good for playing reactively to whatever your opponent wants to do, because they got some nice tools to just like be flexible. I think Temple is going to be good, except Temple's starting secondary skill, their faction specific secondary skill, doesn't really, it's not my favorite. I think that that's going to be headed for a rework at some point. I think that Hive is tough to use, but I understand the idea behind it. Being able to use multiple creatures to buff your own forces. But then again, you've only got the one bit of ranged damage, so that's a little bit interesting. You know, they're all, the nice thing is this, is like we were just having that conversation, which one's best? I think that they're all different in their own ways, and I think that that's fun. I think that's fine. So, best one? Tell you what, I really like Dungeon. Really like Dungeons, pretty fun. Having a nice time. This is enjoyable. Basic Arcane Magic, Basic Offense, Advanced Nightshade. Folks, I don't know if Basic Arcane Magic is worth it. So if I get the Arcane Magic, if I get Arcane Magic, then I can get into like Rewind Life, which is exceptionally powerful. Rewind Life as a tier 4 spell is just so good. I'm gonna go with Basic Arcane Magic. No, on this template, there's 3 other players, so our starting area feels already small. I feel like we're gonna start fighting sooner rather than later. I don't think that the time to scale up your damage is gonna be like a 1 or 2 month playthrough. I think we're gonna probably finish this game, or at least have a good handle on this game by month 1. So we're gonna go for the Arcane Magic. 6,000 gold, we'll take it. We're gonna ignore the well for now. We're gonna head back home, and I think we're gonna end there. We're gonna end our day at home. Yes, we will. Very good. Okay, and with that, let's purchase the Mage Guild. So first thing in the morning, we will start off with full spell points. We are going to have, it looks like 30. Not many, but at least 30 will do better for us. And in our Mage Guild, we got Lightning Bolt, Enlarged Shadow, Haste, very good. Haste with the Masterful Early Start, like that. And then Despair, hate that. Hate it. Phixfox, no, Although, so Despair is like a damage over time spell. Apparently there's a really nice synergy with the Pestilent Liches, because they will immediately make damage over time spells happen immediately. So anyway, I'm probably going to look to pick up Web. I'm going to need to try and find 2 more crystal. I want to find Web as soon as possible, but that'll be another day, another time sort of a deal. And in our other castle, like the bank, this is the one with the stilled voices. So actually getting walls is not going to be bad. Interesting to note. So level 1 walls gives you access to the treasury and gives you some defense in a siege. Level 2 walls increase the production of your units by 50%, and then tier 3 walls plus 100%. So if you want additional units, you actually need to invest in walls. So very interesting there. That means that ore or no ore, negative 20% cost is actually kind of valuable, because walls cost a lot of ore, right? Let's see, 4 ore, 8 ore, 12 ore. Yeah, because we got negative 20%. Anyway, just things to think about. Because we got at least to the stilled voices, I'm going to go for the wall section right now. 5,000 gold, that's a lot. That's a lot, but I'm going to do that. And then between my choices, additional passages appear in the city walls. Meh. Traps appear on the battlefield, they deal damage. Meh. When the city is attacked, you start with a stack of tier 1 creatures that joins the defender side. I just kind of like that one. I don't know if it's really good or not, but I like it. And with that, we're going to have Talaris stay at home. Motley is just wandering around, making friends everywhere they go, not being very effective with their movement points. Come on, Motley. I believe in you. Do better. I do want to do some exploring over here to figure out what's over yonder. I want to get this amphitheater for the additional Jasper Dancers. I want to clear out the safe house, amphitheater. With additional forces, I might be able to get some phoenixes. Maybe I roll phoenixes past the dreadlords. No, there's no way. That's way too many. That's just way too many. Tough to say. I don't know the answer, but we'll hit end turn in just 1 second. Until then, let's get with the alchemical dust. First thing in the morning, I can upgrade some really good units. I can get my dancers upgraded. 54 dancers. It's going to be even more. going to be over 70 dancers. I don't know if the dancer upgrade's that good, though. I really don't know if it's that good. You get the additional initiative. That's nice. You don't get like a lot of extra like damage, I don't think. I just don't think that the dancer upgrade is good for what I want it to do. Like, I think that you just prefer to get infiltrators upgraded. I think that that's much better. I think that the Minotaur upgrade is exceptional. I know that the Medusa upgrade is fantastic. I think that this is actually a trap. I think that upgrading your dancers is good. It's not exceptional. I'm waiting for more data. If in 2 years, everybody looks back on this moment, it's like, man, Phixfox was an idiot. Yeah, still figuring it out. So for now, we're not going to make that play. We're just going to go straight into the Jadame maps. 10% or 10 extra movement points per day. That feels pretty good. And on to a new day. Folks, we got 9,500 gold. We're going to go up to 1,500. Good, good. Full purchases, big stacks, big money, everybody. Big money. Upgrades, people, upgrades. And we'll do it just like that. Okay, let's go clear the adventure map. Zorg says build another marketplace. Oh yeah, I should do that. Wood has been a bit of a problem. So the additional 5 wood, I'm not trading a lot at the moment. I need wood and crystal. Hold on, is there a crystal mine somewhere and I just haven't paid attention? I think that this template, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I think that this template requires you to like leave the starting area through liches or through minotaurs. Tell you what though, if we get a big enough force, maybe we get this enemy to join us. We should maybe try and have enough gold to do that. Let's consider that. Let's try and do that. But for now, yeah, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I just don't know if I've got the resources for it. I don't want to lose the infiltrators. Don't want to lose them. Proto, only 1 building per day per town. True, true. Zorg says, wouldn't you want to build it in the other town for a better trade? Yes. I just don't know if I'm trading a lot right now. Scar says, I love the way you're using attrition to your advantage with the dancer defense shredding the ability. I really do. I think that that's just the best way of playing. Single stacks generate focus points, which is awesome already. And then also being able to spread that damage reduction or that defense shred, I just feel like that's a good way of playing. I'm sure that other people do the exact same. I'm sure I'm not just like the only person that does it. It just seems just highly effective to me anyway. By the way, Warden Gnats, I think. Yes, Warden Gnats and Locust, just the base level tier 1 creatures. They are fast though. I should probably focus on this group here, so I'm just going to step up. Let's do some damage. We kill most of them. Good, good. Will I kill the full stack? Yeah, I'm not going to waste the damage. We're just going to spread the damage. Very nice. Done, done, and done. Yeah, how did the AI lose any forces there? I don't know, still working on it. Zorg says, I read it'll be on Mac, but not the demo. Oh, so it is going to be on the demo for you Mac players out there. But for now, you're just waiting. Oh, that's frustrating. I wonder, do you have like another, I don't know, maybe you have like an old desktop somewhere out there you can borrow? I'm going to accept that. Maybe you have like an old desktop out there you can load it up on. I don't think that the requirements to run the game are exceptionally high, so maybe even like a potato PC, like something you could just borrow, something that's laying around. Maybe? I don't know. The assumption that you just have a spare PC laying around is maybe just not accurate. Probably not accurate. I have spare PCs laying around because my brother is an absolute technological wizard, and so that's just what he does. It's just stuff he does. It's crazy. Folks, I think it's time. I would love to get up to Cave Palace. I don't think we're going to have the resources for it. We're just so far behind. But I'm still going to pick up this Cave Palace here on week 2. So that way we can get dragons over time. Going through the Agashoth Riders, and looks like some cultists. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. And then defeating the dragons for the +1 to the cave dragons. I'm going to take that. Definitely going to take that. Wow, this is way more than I thought. Agashoth Mathas, and then the Agashoth Tamers. Goodness, these guys are fast too. Look how fast these guys are. Okay, let's go into attack. Let's work on the small stack with the heroic strike just to kind of pepper them down. Let's just do some waiting. Okay, full damage. I should have used the single stacks to do their damage first. For some reason I have a stack of 11. My bad. And then spread the damage. I'm going to spread the damage again here just because they got high defense anyway. So not once, but twice. I do want to be able to go first next turn so I can reapply and go from attack into defense. So I'm going to do this masterful early start. my fastest unit is the infiltrators. Is that going to be enough to move me up? It is. So I am going to get to go first at the beginning of next turn. It's actually a big deal. It's actually a big deal because now we can actually do some defense. Maybe 6 initiative, 7 initiative. I can even get the damage from the Minotaurs off at the beginning of next round. Let's kill 6 to 9 of these riders, the tamers rather. So there's 1. We're still gonna take some damage even if we get the Minotaurs to go. We're down to, well, we lose a lot of movement points here. Or rather spell points. We're down to 14 out of 30. Oh, it looks like we're only gonna be faster than the tamers. No, tamers are 9 speed. But the Mothas, they are 7 initiative. Okay, interesting. Let's do some damage here. Let's go into the Dark Elf defensive stance. 5 to 8. Should we kill 5 to 8? I don't want them to get into the dancers, so I'm gonna kind of put myself in harm's way a little bit here. 5 to 8. Out of 11, we killed 6. Okay. Oh, okay. And the infiltrators will take some damage. Interesting. Interesting. Hopefully they die on the retaliation. They do. Perfect. And then, yeah, these other riders are about to go in just 1 second. I can't defend these creatures effectively. I'd love to keep the ranged creatures unencumbered. I can't do it. So we're going to lose 1 Minotaur there. Ooh, special ability. Icy Spikes. Makes an additional attack, dealing 64 pure damage to the target and all adjacent creatures. So they spiked my forces there. Don't love that. Please don't. And then I'm going to wait on my dancers here. I'm going to use the Slither Away for the Medusa in just a second. So that way they can do full damage. Right now I'm doing melee damage. I'm going to do Slither Away. So I'm going to move to another Hex. And now I'm going to do full damage on the range. 4 to 7. We killed a couple. And then I think, yeah, 67 dancers, even in melee, are going to do oodles of damage. And that's going to be the end of this fight. So not too bad. Not too bad. But the enemy's speed is really kind of playing into this. You can't, it's difficult to effectively defend your own forces when the enemies are able to really rush down the battlefield. It's not that common. It's very uncommon to have creatures that take 4 turns to get down the battlefield. I think that like troglodytes take 4 turns. Most creatures take 3 turns. Creatures that can get down the battlefield in 2 turns, I would consider to be fast or very fast. And then creatures that can go down the battlefield in 1 go, like ashen dragons, black dragons, for example, they're good, but their speed is a bit of a problem because they tend to go faster than their forces can go, and then they're just left out there by themselves, and then they get destroyed, and that feels pretty bad. So speed is kind of interesting. I'm still kind of figuring out speed here in Olden Era. Battlecraft. I mean, Battlecraft or Daylight Magic, we're going to go with Daylight Magic. We're not really a spellcasting hero. We don't have very high knowledge and spell power. We are an Overlord, not a Overlord Dungeon Master. What's the opposite of an Overlord? Whatever the magic casting class is for the dungeons, we're not that. So battle magic is going to convert your knowledge and spell power into offensive stats. We're not going to do that here. So advanced Daylight Magic it is. We have the choice between Brightest Sun, so the enemy will have -1 level to all their daylight spells. Luminous Focus, where we get an additional focus charge at the start of the battle. And then the Scholar Synergy with Arena, where we get +4 spell power when casting daylight magic. I'm going to go with this. I think that we already have +1 focus charge. That's fine. There is a strategy out there where you can do Luminous Focus. You can have +1 focus charge. You can get to +2 focus charges when you choose your Triumvirate Strength. And then your dragons can just like immediately use some really nice abilities. You can do that. Should we do that? It's kind of fun. All right, we'll do that. Luminous Focus, +1 charges at the beginning of the battle. There is such a thing as too many focus points. We're not there yet. Anyway, okay. By the way, folks, can I just take a break and just tell you that I appreciate all of you? Like, thank you, all of you. Like, it's fun. It's fun to have you here. It's fun to be here. It's fun to spend time with you. And it's fun that we have this nice game. A game that's, I feel like, worth our time. So, thank you for enjoying. I enjoy having you here. I enjoy your presence. We are not fighting 8 dragons. Are you kidding me? It's 8? Usually it's like 2. I think that this is the max number of guards this can be. Holy crap. No. Not today. I thought we were going to get this. No. Whoops. Okay, well. All right, we have a choice. Do you want to go in this direction? Ooh, Alchemical Dust Storage. And Stinging Sword. I want this. Definitely want these. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. hold on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Folks, we got 7 amphitheaters here. We should have picked Motley. We should have picked Motley. Motley as the dancer specialist, and we have 7 amphitheaters. I mean, it's kind of too late. Level 1 versus Talaris being level 9. I mean, it's kind of too late. Oh, but I mean, how could I have known? 1, 2, 3, 4 amphitheaters, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 amphitheaters. Motley would be a monster on this scenario. Oh, heartbreak. We see what could have been. I'm devastated. All right. Well, I'm going to get over that pretty quickly because we have to fight these schism forces here. Any losses? Wow, 28? You're insane. These aren't even the ranged tier 1 creatures. What are they called? Rashoth? These aren't even the upgraded Rashoth. These are just level 1. Huh, that's weird. But these are the tamers with the 6 speed, 9 initiative. I never did pick up web. Bit sad there. I can enlarge my own shadow. I think I'm going to do that. +2 attack and defense to target friendly creature. By the way, enlarged shadow is kind of nifty for this reason. In case you didn't know, enlarged shadow allows your forces to get the +1 attack or +2 attack, +2 defense, and it stacks up over time. So like for the next 3 rounds, I'm going to get +2 attack, +2 defense. Next round, +2 attack, +2 defense. Like, it's actually not a bad spell. Like, the additional functionality is kind of nifty. Kind of nifty. With only 14 spell points, though, I got a feeling. Let's see. Would you say 9 initiative? 9 initiative. Nope. Nope. I don't have enough forces to kind of prevent this damage from coming through. So I'm going to go into attack skill. We're up to 11 attack skill. Going to kill 2 of these riders at the bottom. Let's go into kind of like this full defensive position that we have been doing. Let's defend with the Minotaurs for now. Get damage off not once but twice. We will wait. Damage off. And because I waited here, I should get bonus damage here. But I don't see like any indicator that would indicate that I'm getting the additional damage from my battlecraft. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like it should be a little bit more easy to read. Because that's information that you need. Like, that's not just like, oh, that'd be nice. It's like, no, that is required. Oh, no. Hold on. Wait a minute. You weren't supposed to attack. You were supposed to step up. That's not good. That's not good. Before I do this, let me think about this. Is there anything I can do to avoid this? If you want, you can move the Infiltrator from here to there, but that means that the Medusa will take the damage. Medusa, though, have 60 hit points as opposed to 16. Like, they might be able to take the damage in this top stack, especially if, okay, if the Dancers attack this top stack, we'll kill 13 to 18. We'll tank the damage from these guys. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Tell you what, if we early start here, we should move up in turn order. We do. So we're going to attack the top stack, 13 to 18. We kill 17, not bad. And then I'm going to, this kind of hurts a little bit. Just a little bit. Un poquito. We're going to do Dark Elf Stance into the defense. We're going to step up in front. Really? You're going for the Infiltrators. I thought for sure they were going to go for the Medusa. Okay, well, Phixfox knows nothing. You know nothing, Phixfox. Yes, because I know nothing, and because I admit that I know nothing, then I can actually be exceptional in the future. I would like to use this Grand Slam ability, just because we haven't used it yet. I think it's fun to see new things, but now is not the time. Professor Oak says that this is not the time to be riding that bicycle. I'm going to wait here. I'm going to wait here. I'm going to hope that the Rashoth they're going to step up a little bit closer, and I'm just going to do full damage to them with Dancers. 12 to 22 or 5 to 8. We got to take out these forces. They're too fast. Oh my gosh, I hate your face. So the Rashoth can summon other Rashoth from the corpses of their foes. Thankfully, they were really weak, and my Dancers were able to stop them. I thought I was going to miss out on my turn, though. That was a little bit scary. Whew. Whew. All right, we're good to go. Now I'm gonna just speed here, skip, 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 kill and kill and kill. Because they're not in range, they're just a little bit too far away. Okay. And we're gonna get out of this fight. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But still fun to fight. Like, there's these interesting little things. I can feel myself getting better. I can feel myself getting stronger as we're fighting this. +1 attack from the stinging sword, plus 30 alchemical dust. That's a lot of alchemical dust. It's a bunch. This force, we are going to lose some forces. These are the upgraded raw shelf. These are the ranged ones. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, ranged raw shelf, not my favorite. Base level cultists though, that's okay. Let's go actually into defense so we don't lose as many dancers. 63 down to 7, or down to 56. I don't think that the infiltrators are going to take the damage. Yeah, it's all going to go onto the dancers. Correct. I did put the minotaurs right in range, unfortunately, of these cultists. That was a mistake. I should have gone here or here. I just didn't think that the cultists would be that close. I'm gonna have to attack this stack. I'm gonna attack now rather than wait, just because I really want to make sure that the stack size is reduced as far as possible. I just want to keep the minotaurs alive. Even though I would like to be putting the damage onto the raw shelf, I would also like to keep the minotaurs alive and happy as long as I can. Okay, so there's 56 up here. What if I did early start? No, too slow. Lightning bolt. I get a lightning bolt. I don't see the point in that. I could do my haste. Here. 8 to 14. I'm not going to lose the entire stack. Okay. We'll take the damage. That's going to be another 1 dancer lost. Minotaurs are going to kill 8 to 11 of the cultists. I don't know what these 21 raw shells are going to do. Funny enough. I just have no idea what they want. I don't know what the priority of the AI is at the moment. Be interested to find out though. Okay, time to go full attack. Now that the ranged damage isn't so much a threat, and we're just going to focus fire these cultists as much as possible. Bring them down. Bring them down. Keep the troglodytes safe, just only killing, looks like 1 cultist. And then will the Medusa finish off the stack? Not quite. Not quite. Okay, troglodytes are fodder in the middle. Man, that pure damage ability. So this Glance of the Abyss, it curses the enemy target so they take damage at the start of their turn. You can stack the damage. It's more annoying than anything. Like, it's a good way of using focus points for like a melee creature. Because, you know, they don't have to be in position to do damage. It's just annoying for me as a player to play against, I suppose. Anyway, 1 Minotaur goes down. I don't think I could have helped that. There's no amount of finagling that could have done that any better. There is no reconciliation that will put me in my place, and there's no time like the present to go through all of this. Damage, good. Yeah, okay. But that is going to be the end of this fight, thankfully. With the final raw shelf going down to the Medusa. But even so, we have to fight these fights now for this reason. In the next week, I think we're going to have enough forces that we will just roll through these fights. We're not going to be required to fight the fights. And generally, I find that it saves so much time to not fight the fights that I would prefer to just continue on. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to do that. Okay, we got some sub-skills for this advanced Nightshade magic. We can learn up to tier 4 Nightshade spells. Very good. And we have Naira's Scholar Synergy. So +4 spell power when casting Nightshade spells. Very good. Disguise. Enemies can't see detailed information about your army. That's kind of cool. I think that's effective against players. I'm wondering if this is kind of like the Cover of Darkness in Heroes 3, where it affects the player, but the AI just, they couldn't code that in the game to make sense of that. I'm anticipating that the AI here, that's not going to affect them. In the Darkest Night, this is really good. Like, these are good. These are good to prevent the enemies from casting spells. I just like my spells to hit harder rather than trying to counteract the enemy if they might cast spells. But I'm open to people telling me why that is not as good as I might have otherwise thought. So I'm open to it. Let me know what you think, folks. We're getting no gems right now. I'm going to change that right now. We're going to get 2 gems. I know that we have the opportunity of picking up gems through faction law points. For now, I'm going to try to improve my dancers as much as possible because there's going to be so many of them on the map. So we're going to use the resource depot to counteract that weakness in our economy. Everything else looks fine. Yeah, everything else looks good enough anyway. Haven't really used the Lyceum much, by the way. It allows you to enchant magic scrolls so that they grant max level. This is really cool. I've just never used this before. I should probably try and do that because I think, yeah, Motley, for some reason, she's got this fancy mask. I don't know where she even picked this up, funny enough. Generates 2 focus points at the start of the battle. Holy crap. How long have you had this? Okay, I need you to bring that on over to a person actually doing the fighting. Because, yeah, Talaris has nothing. Where did Motley pick all this up? I wonder if in this... I don't know. I wonder if in this template, you just get some random artifacts when you purchase a hero. I suppose that might make some sense. I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of information to kind of go through. Anyway. As you can see, by the way, in this upper corner here, there is me, there's the AI, second AI, and third AI. So I am red, there's blue, orange, and green. They do take some time to kind of get through their turns. That's okay. They're doing a good job. They're doing the best that they can. And I'm sure that this can get very annoying if there's multiple players. So far, in the playthroughs I've enjoyed on the demo version through Unfrozen Discord, you are able to play against players in that version. So in the demo build here, you're not able to play PvP. You have to play against the AI. In the version I've played where you do get to play players, simultaneous turns is a blessing. It's big. It's not just a small thing. It's a massive, wonderful big thing. Why isn't this working? There we go. So yeah, hopefully when that time comes, they are very, very happy with the way that their multi-turns go, just so that way there's no issues in trying to get through as many games as possible of Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Oh look, there was nothing else here. Have you noticed that Motley is not being very effective? These enemy forces are a little bit too big for her to really just take an army of ragtag forces and destroy people. Like, she's just not good enough. I feel so bad. It's one of my favorite things in other Heroes games to use multiple heroes very effectively, but for now, it's just kind of where we're at. T-Pig77, hello, is this early access? This is the demo. So if you're interested, you can go take this demo and you can go play this yourself. Go find this on Steam and go to the Olden Era download spot. You'll be able to get this demo yourself and you can play this yourself today. So early access is not going to officially drop until 2026. This is, for all intents and purposes, just a way to satiate our need for Heroes of Might and Magic. I think that the developers know that since they pushed out early access, not once but twice, that they wanted to give us something to enjoy. So I appreciate that they're taking their time. I appreciate that they are taking their time to make sure that even early access is of a high quality, because if they don't, people are going to try it and they're going to say, oh, this is garbage, because people don't understand. It's not the full version. It's early access. That's what it is, right? So they're taking their time, though, to assume that people are going to want to still see something very polished and cohesive, and I think that that's the right move. In the meantime, we have the demo, and I'm having fun with it. And they are still updating the demo, by the way. If you notice my YouTube shorts, in the YouTube shorts, I posted a bug or an exploit that I found. I didn't find it. My brother found it. And I believe it's already been patched. So in like less than 1 day, the developers saw that and they're like, oh, let's just fix that. And they did. That is the mark of a good developer, that they are actively looking for, seeking for, and finding good new opportunities to improve the game. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. Internet said it was releasing in 2026. Yeah, so this is not early access, but early access will drop sometime in 2026. And who knows when the game will be after that. I do know that they've said that they wanted the game to be in early access for 1 full year. I wonder if that is going to change based off of the amount of work that they've done to this point to get the game where they want it to be. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. I don't want the Dreadlords so much, but I do think I can defeat these forces. Wow, 28. That seems like a lot. Oh, oops. I didn't realize it was a creature bank. Oops, my bad. I didn't think about that. I was hoping that the enemies would be on this side of the battlefield. They're going to be on both sides. and there's nothing I can do about that. We're just gonna have to take a lot of damage. Oh, no spells. Okay. Yeah, let's go full defense. We're up to 11 defense. And let's see, who can reach? Literally everybody can reach the center. These poor dancers are gonna take so much heat. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. Okay, who's gonna get to go first? This guy's gonna go first. We're gonna leave them alone because we're gonna retaliate here. Almost guaranteed, right? Almost guaranteed. Might as well go do damage everywhere else you can. There's no sense in waiting. This is totally not good. Jeez. I wasn't thinking. Phixfox, is that an excuse? Yes. Is it a good excuse? No. Okay. Let's spread the damage here once and twice. And there's no sense in waiting. These dancers are going to be covered up first thing in the morning. Let's kill one full stack though. Let's go right here. One full stack. Dead. Rather than split the damage, maybe splitting the damage would have been better actually. I'm not sure. Let's split the damage here. Makes that melee retaliation a bit better. Did we kill the full stack? Close. Not quite, but close. So down to 75 of the dancers. Down to 72. Down to 70. We're going to take one more bit of damage. Oh, there's so many dancers gone. This is my power stack. Leave my dancers alone. They didn't do anything to you. Actually, they totally did, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, we're gonna do a quick little slither away. I love slither away because you get to still take your turn, but you get to go to a place where I can use this alternative fighting style. So I'm gonna use this AoE damage for 22, 15, and 22 of these undead pets. Oof, dead. Get out of here. And then I think, folks, it's time to just do this Minotaur stance where we're increasing our defense, or rather our attack instead of our defense. We're gonna do a heroic strike. We're gonna kill 6 here. The Minotaurs are finally gonna get their chance to do oodles of damage. They're gonna go right here. They're gonna go right here. So we're gonna do the Grand Slam fighting attack, hitting the target and all creatures behind it in 2 hexes. Ooh, that's too far. Let's go here. Boof. Dead for a ducat. Ooh, and we'll take this. Do I want to hit my own troglodytes? I don't think so. That feels pretty bad. Let's just kill 5 to 7 here, and we'll get out of here. Let me take a quick peek here. We had not 1 but 2 follows. We got Window Ella with the follow. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. And Sea Pig, pleasure to have you here as well. Thank you so very much. I'm glad that there's so many wonderful people enjoying Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era so far. I think we're going to continue to enjoy it. Like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm glad that other people are enjoying this very, very much. So good stuff. The losses continue. Folks, can I please get a rewind life? Can I please get a resurrect to prevent these losses? Can I go back in time? The answer is no, but someday, maybe someday. Okay, fighting style, 2 stacks. Not so bad, not so bad. I'm gonna do the heroic strike onto the big stack of the undead pets. There's only 4. We'll kill 2 to 4 here. The Minotaurs are gonna clean up this fight, and we're gonna get out of here. We're unfortunately gonna have to use these Dreadlords to justify losing 17 of these dancers. Now, we did fight that fight much better than the AI thought that we would. Like, we still did better, right? I'm encouraged to see that I can still fight the fights better than the AI can, but I think that most people, when they play Olden Era, I think that they're finding that they can do that. So give it a shot, fight the fights yourself. Let me know how you're doing with it yourselves. We got scouting, which is actually really nice. Folks, scouting has one of my favorite things in the world. If you get scouting maxed out, it will remove the fog of war in a huge radius around your hero. This is actually a really good deal. I think the scouting is at least A tier as a skill, funny enough. In single hero modes, I think it's really S tier. In multi-hero mode, I think it's still really, really good. I don't think I'm going to take it though, because I think that advanced diplomacy or advanced arcane magic, I think that those are going to be still useful for us. I do want to see, because we haven't had an opportunity to use diplomacy yet, I want to see if I upgrade it, if we can get some better opportunities here. So this will allow us to have plus 25% persuasion power when trying to get enemies to join us. And we can either surrender at a reduced cost, we can have additional persuasion power with dungeon forces, or we can have an additional 25% for all neutral creatures. I'm going to do this. Wait, the bonus is doubled if the hero knows Battlecraft? I do. Larger than life? So Folk Hero is good if you don't have Battlecraft, but if you have Battlecraft, you should always take larger than life. You should always take, I think you should always take it. We're gonna go larger than life. We'll take 4 Dread Knights. That was not worth it. That wasn't worth it. These are good forces. These are tier 6 creatures. They're gonna bring down my morale a little bit. Okay, all right. I'm still happy I have them, I suppose. I just feel so bad about losing any amount of dancers. Anyway, Window Ellis says Minotaurs are essentially just, oh, that's sick. That's a cool little cow face there. I love that. That's exactly what they are. That's cool. I like that. Did you come up with that on your own? My goodness, look at this enemy force. These are the Griffins and the, looks like these are the Aegis Defenders. Oh, we gotta fight this fight, my word. Oh, and I still don't have spell points, do I? Why do I hurt everything I touch? These creatures are gonna take 2 turns to get down the battlefield. Let's just wait for now. Waiting. I'm gonna wait here as well. Who got bad morale? In the bottom left, you've got this neat little thing that's gonna tell you what happened in a battle. So let's see. Neutral squad, Sun's age is 57. So these guys panicked and they skipped their turn. So they're gonna be a little bit slower. So I wasn't sure who it was, but these guys have skipped their turn. They just don't get to take their turn. I'm not gonna focus on them. That was actually a really nice bit of morale. These guys are gonna take 2 more turns to get down the battlefield. Let's focus on Griffins for their damage reduction. Step up in front of the dancers. AoE damage. AoE damage to the Griffins, sure. Yes, I think so. AoE damage. Time to use a heroic strike. Might as well. Bottom stack. Okay. And then I'm just going to focus on these Griffins. We kill a bunch. Killing a bunch is always good. And the Dread Knights are unfortunately just going to have to wait their turn. Medusa might take some damage. I think the Infiltrators and Troglodytes are going to take damage. They do. Infiltrators take the damage. Not once, but twice. That's a lot of damage. Man, these Griffins do not appreciate me. I don't even know why. I'm a nice guy. We will do, let's see. We're already on full attack. I don't need another focus charge point, so I'm not going to do anything special. I will do a heroic strike here so that the Infiltrators get to kill the full stack. Almost. Almost. Oh, and for the first time, folks, we just saw, you might ask yourself, wait a second, my Infiltrator attacked here, and then these Griffins retaliated, and then these Griffins retaliated. This is what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, Guardian Griffins, they have this Loyal Protector ability, so they will counteract each time an adjacent enemy attacks a friendly creature. So it's actually really good to stack these Guardian Griffins on top of each other so they can support each other. So they retaliated here. They're like, hey, buddy, you hit my friend. And then they smacked me that way, which that's a good teammate. That's a really good teammate. In sports, you'll sometimes see people who will like fight the opponent after the opponent like kicks their own player down. I'm not advocating for violence. There is something to be said about sticking up for your teammate. That's absolutely a thing. So just in case you're wondering, Phixfox, do you advocate for violence? The answer is no. Do I advocate for sticking up for your teammate? Yes, every time, every time. Okay, I am so glad that these guys got the bad morale. I think that the Dread Knights can take a lot of damage here, so I'm going to kill 7 to 9. We got, what is this, 100 HP? Yeah, we're going to be fine. We do have a double strike ability. This will be the first time we see this. So damage, retaliation, and then damage again. And worth noting, the Dread Knights do have this dreadful presence, so the enemy's morale is going to be reduced by 1. So that's why the Sun's Aegis had the negative morale. That actually really saved me a lot in this fight. So good stuff. Nice to see that already in effect. Ouch. Ouch. And then I'm going to wait on these dancers so they get full damage. I'm going to attack with these dancers so they get the damage shred off. We're down to 5 defense only. Now full damage from Medusa and from the dancers. 15 to 21. Nice. Very nice. I don't think I need to attack with any other creatures. I think that we can do damage, take the retaliation, and just drain tank this. Yeah, we'll do that. Defend. And that'll be the end of this fight. So even for these bigger forces, losing 19 of your tier 2 creatures, it's not great, but I don't think I could have fought that fight any better. I think that you were going to take some losses, and I think that in exchange for 10 of these dancers, I think that was definitely acceptable. 6 crystal from this Trophy Hunter's Den. Folks, we had 0 crystal. We have 6 now. That actually opens up some opportunities for us. That can get us into the Stilled Voices. that can get us into a lot of things. So it's day 5. Let's go for a labyrinth. Let's go for, we need a little bit more wood and a little bit more gold, and we can get the hydras. I think we can get hydras by the end of this week. Let's go for that. And then in week 3, we're really going to push and see if we can get dragons. But that was a nice pickup. That felt really, really nice as we kind of carry on here down to the south. Windowella says, those are Japanese emotes. If you download the keyboard for Japanese for phone, they're included in the dozens. Oh, I really like those. Thank you. I'd never seen that before. Yeah, I enjoyed those. I think that was really, really cool. So I'm interested to see what other ones there are. But let's, if you find any that are specifically related to the dungeon faction, right? So anything that looks like a little goblin troglodyte creature or a dragon or something, spam that one in the chat. How about? Anyway. Okay, don't spam it. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Real recognizes real. Okay. We just go from 0 faction law points, by the way. I think we might get 2. We're going to see. I'm not sure. Is this going to be 1 or 2? Yeah, this might be just this mode. This might be just this mode where you can only get 1. After 1 per week. 1 per day. After we fight this fight here, we're going to know, because we should get enough points to pick ourselves up 1 additional faction law point, if it's even possible to do so. So, fight, victory, good. Losses don't look great. Let's continue on. And once again, we see low morale hit this creature here. That means I get to focus right where I want to, over here. I'll do damage here, and here. So here's my question, folks. We've now been playing Olden Era for about 2 hours here in this playthrough today. So after seeing these fights, do you start to feel like the fights start to feel and look a little bit samey? And I hope you understand what I mean by that. Do they look and feel like they play out the same way every time? Because in some ways that's good because consistency matters. In some ways I could see that not being so good because you want to avoid the player just being like, oh, I'm doing the same thing today that I did before, right? Every game has to have a nice gameplay loop. Do we feel like these fights are ending up the same basic way every time? Does that mean that Phixfox has a really good strategy? Does that mean that the game is built around this other certain opportunity? Is it good? Is it bad? I'm interested to hear anybody's thoughts on that. Okay, I don't know about this point of balance. I am going to defeat these guardians just so I can take a... For the first time, we have diplomacy. Rather than defeat these forces, I have the opportunity to have some of these creatures join us. We have to pay for them because they're not just going to join us outright, but I get to choose how many of them I want to have join me. Because there's 2 creatures in this army that could join me, it's neat that you get to choose. It's like, oh, I don't want any of these creatures, but I do want some of these. I could choose that, and that feels nice. For now, I'm going to refuse this. I don't want any Stinging Roshoth or cultists. Although, okay, hold on. If I'm about to fight some sentinels, I mean, I don't think that any of these creatures are going to be good enough for fodder. I'm still going to refuse this. I'm going to save my gold for other stuff. How many sentinels is this? Wow, that's a lot of sentinels. I'm going to skedoodle. We're going to retreat from this battle and pick up this one final deal. Get ready for day 7. And on day 7, folks, we're going to go through these creatures down here and hope that these enemies are going to want to join us. There's so much area up here, but there's got to be another castle along the main road. You can only stay in your starting biome for so long. I feel like it's time. I feel like it's time for me to set forth and seek my fortune in the big wide world. So, okay. And then Windowella. Oh, those ones are cool. You don't know if these are dungeon ones, but here's a bunch of necro ghosts. Very cool. I like that. It's very fun. Yeah. And Windowella says, yes, the game is a bit samey right now, honestly, but it's probably due to it being a demo, perhaps. I think that there's a lot to be said about that. You're right. And I'm sure that the developers are, at this point, how many hours have the developers played the game for? Probably a bunch, right? So if anybody is going to know about the sameness, it's probably going to be them, right? Like they're probably going to be the first people to tell you, yeah, we're trying to make this part of the gameplay a little bit more exciting or a little bit more different. Yes, we're trying to do this or do that. Yeah, I think that you're probably right about that. So that's probably what it is. And then Double Pandan says, it's an interesting question. Walling off your ranged and shooting down the enemy stacks is how literally every faction plays at the moment, except for Hive. We'll get to that later. The only slight variance so far is with caster heroes. That's a really good point. So really, you're saying that every faction does exceptionally well with having ranged creatures and then walling them off, and so that strategy is just ideal. It's top tier for clearing neutral creatures. I think that that's fair to say, number one. And number two, I think that that's the way it's always been, right? I can't think of a Heroes game where that hasn't been the way to play. So I think you're right. And I guess the question then is like, is that good or bad, right? So thanks for the comment. I think that that's really good input there. I think that's really good input. The one thing I was going to say with that is that talking about the Hive faction is that the Hive faction doesn't have any ranged creatures unless you upgrade the tier 6 creature, the Wymeros. And even then, only if you upgrade the creature do you have any ranged damage. That feels interesting to me. That feels interesting to me, and I don't know what to make of that, because that is going to be a faction that you can't do this strategy on. You're just going to have to send your forces down the battlefield. You're going to have to just tank a lot of damage, and I think you're going to have to make good use of your set larva ability. They have some special abilities with the Hive faction. I'm excited to see kind of how it goes, right? But I think it's going to be interesting to see just what people end up doing, because people are smart. People are intuitively good at figuring out the best way of winning. We need a lot of lazy people working on the game, because lazy people tend to figure out the most efficient way of doing anything. Alrighty. Double says, yeah, I'm not worried. The devs' track record so far is fantastic. Yes, I agree. And they obviously care a lot about the game and the player experience. In answer to the question, I don't really consider it bad. Also, yes, looking forward to Hive very much. Very good. Very good. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. Good. I'm glad that we're on the same page for Hive. I'm being excited for what'll come next. Okay, let me think. This is probably a good time for initiative. So, fix initiative. Fix initiative. Yeah, it's time for a masterful early start onto my big stack. To the front of the battle you go, my friends. To the very front of the battle. Minotaur stance or Dark Elf stance? Do you want to get off damage now, or do you just want to do defense? Because the dancers are going to get to go first, I think they're going to fight here and here. I think they're going to take out 2 full creature stacks. I do want to defeat the Locust because they're double strike. Yeah, due to the double strike. They can all reach the center, by the way. Have you noticed? Oh, except for the Hoplets. They cannot reach. So in that case, we definitely want to defeat Locust here. Do damage here with the big stack. And then Minotaurs, no. Maybe the Infiltrators. Infiltrators will also try and stand in the way so that these Locusts cannot reach the Dancers. As much as possible, I'm just trying to prevent damage. I'm going to wait on my Heroic Strike, but I am going to do the Minotaur stance. We're going to try and do as much damage as possible. We're going to kill 8 to 9. I don't think we're going to lose 1 on this retaliation. So 31, lose half the stack, 50 points of damage, okay. Wait on the Heroic Strike. How many do we kill? Yes. Get out of my game. Oh, it's so satisfying. If we can prevent these Locusts from getting to the Dancers, then they're not going to take any damage. If they go 1, 2, 3, yeah, I'm just going to position right here. I'm going to avoid damage on retaliations. I'm just going to sit right here. And I'm going to be quite shuffed, I'd say, to make sure that we didn't have ourselves worse off. Okay, very nice. Might as well do damage with the Minotaurs. I'm probably going to lose 1 here on the retaliation, I think. 57 points of damage, but still a good creature. Really good creature. I love the Minotaurs, but they're not so defensive and so tanky that you're not going to lose some. I do struggle a little bit with attrition when it comes down to my Minotaur stacks. I feel like I'm always losing some forces, and I suppose that just can't really be avoided, but I would like to avoid it if I can. We'll do the ranged attack with the Troglodytes. We're going to slither away with our Medusa. We'll do full damage to these Hoplets. We kill 8, not bad. And because of our damage here, let's see. We'll kill half the stack of the Locust. Full damage to these Hoplets. We should kill the full stack, I think. Yeah, just about. And then the Dancers are going to split damage, not once, but twice. Exceptional, high quality, lovely, fantastic. That was everything I wanted it to be and more. Losses look good, and as a prize we get 6 crystal, which we've been needing crystal. We do still need mercury, but 2,000 gold, 6 crystal, not too bad. Okay, we're actually fairly close to this fountain. I don't want to try the pyre. No, it's a bad idea. Don't do it. Gold and mercury. We need mercury. We need mercury. We can get mercury from here, and then as soon as we bust out of this biome, I do think that we're going to find an Alchemist Fisher. Losses don't look good. Let's do that. Window Ella says they're essentially just death from Heroes of Might and Magic 4. The ghosts. Yeah, hold on. Let me think about that. Necromancers are just from Heroes of Might and Magic 4. Yeah, they're very, very, very much patterned after that, aren't they? Huh. Basically. Now, of course, you got like a reskin. Vampires move up a tier from Heroes 4 to Olden Era. They move up a tier, but they still basically do the same thing that your demons would do from Heroes 4. Interesting kind of comparison there. I never would have thought about that until you just mentioned that. But yeah, I can see what you're talking about there. Okay, these enemies are about to get absolutely bopped. By the way, I love these arbitrators. They are really cool units. They've got this ability where they can like flick units away or like reposition their own forces, and it doesn't take their whole turn. I actually love it. It's actually like one of my favorite things. Because I don't want to spend the spell points, I'm going to just try and do as much damage to these creatures as possible. We might kill one. Not quite. They've got a ranged ability even if there's an enemy right in their face though. We will finish them off with the Minotaurs. We will do our split damage to cultists and liches. I will take the damage from the arbitrators in just a moment or two. Boop, boop, boop. Whoa, that was close. 3 HP, not even close. Not even close. What are we talking about? That's not even close. I'm gonna put the troglodytes right here, just so that way this one dancer doesn't get attacked. I don't know. Is one dancer better to save or all of these troglodytes? I guess it doesn't matter. When the enemy decides not to actually attack, I suppose it doesn't matter. Can't get good morale. It looks like these dancers are going to take some amount of damage from this abyssal view, abyssal gaze. 83 down to 82, so we lost one dancer there. But overall, good fight. One dancer, that seems acceptable. And Primal Magic, we talked about Primal Magic. I'm not going to go for Primal Magic. Folks, this is our last slot. So I love Basic Summon Avatar. Not so good on a might-based hero, though, right? Because it scales with your spell power and knowledge. It's still useful. I still generally take it, even for a might-based hero. I'm not going to today because I'm going to try and leave the secondary slot open. You can have 8 secondary skills, and I believe there's 23 secondary skills in the game that you can get. There's a lot of other really nice secondary skills out there, so I'm not going to take Summon Avatar. I'm not going to take Primal Magic. I am going to take Advanced Battlecraft, and that's going to give us Melee Mastery, Ranged Mastery, or Overwatch. This is kind of like what the Griffins do, the Temple Griffins. Are we mostly melee or ranged? Right now, our forces are mostly ranged just because we've got so many dancers. I'm going to go with this Ranged Mastery for the increased 10% damage. It's not going to help our dragons, but it's definitely going to help our Medusa and our dancers. So we're going to go with that. We're going to be very happy for the 4 Mercury. And remember, it's day 7. We're trying to go home. We're trying to be ready to go home. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab these dancers. We're going to be ready to just grab here, here, and here. Motley needs to be ready over here. First thing in the morning, we're going to grab dancers, 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 forces, transport them over here. And even though there's so much up here I'd still like to get to, again, we want to get out and get a 3rd hero. So that's the plan for now. Even though we're wasting some movement points here, wasting some movement points here. Oops. 8 wood. Very good. We're going to try and get 1 more dwelling in each building. Hydras. Perfect. We get up to our tier 6 creature here in Maze of Mazes. And in Chatterton. Chatterton's going to take the walls for the additional growth in the city. That feels good. We have the choice. Towers now automatically attack all enemies in a 2x radius. That seems great. Upgrades to towers, they deal bonus damage. And increase durability. I'm going to take the AoE damage. That just feels really, really good at the very start of the scenario. By the way, there's the new towers in the very, very far back. So our growth is up. We are up to Hydras in Maze of Mazes. We are up to Medusa in Chatterton. We've got to tier 3 in our faction laws. This is going to be day 7 of week 2. We're going to hit end turn on. We're going to accept that. And folks, we've been playing for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's time for Phixfox to take a break. So usually I like to give you a heads up that we're going to take a break a little bit more in advance. Right now, I just realized that this is actually the perfect time to take a break. So we're gonna get caught up on chat, take a break, and go from there. So, double pandan, double. Let me know if I ever say your name incorrectly. Spell it out for me so I know how to say it best. But Double Pandan says, I'm assuming Hive will have some good growth mechanics to offset the unavoidable losses. At least I'm hoping so. I haven't noticed that's better or worse, but their general strength does seem to come from a lot of positioning with the larva and kind of summoning those creatures. Also, their tier 6 creatures are really, really effective. And also they have this, oh, what do you call it? It's like Hive strength, where the more Hive creatures you have in the army, the greater the bonus goes to all the different heroes. So it's kind of interesting. Windowella says that Hive is death from Heroes of Might Magic 4. Oh, gotcha. Death in Heroes 4 was basically only Flyers melee and only one niche shooter. There you go, with the Venom's bonds. Gotcha. Interesting. CPick says, how many armies can you pick from in this demo? You currently have 4. In this demo, you have access to Temple, Dungeon, Schism, and Necropolis. So you cannot play Hive in this demo version. I've played a little bit of Hive on a different build. So, interesting there. There are plenty to try out and have fun with, Double says. Yep, absolutely, sounds good. Good stuff. McFall is here. Hello, McFall. Hi there, joining in late today. Want to ask, did you notice part of the Heroes 2 Overworld theme in the Overworld music here? Heroes 2? We're going to have to pay attention. I'll tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this page up rather than go to my normal screen. I'm just going to like mute my camera and stuff. This is how we're going to take our break. I will listen and you will listen as well. But everybody enjoy the Dungeon Faction music while we take a break. Sounds good. Oh, the overworld on the map? Still, for now, we're still going to enjoy this for now, but still, all the same. Okay, folks, taking a break. I'll see you back in here in about 5 minutes. Not going to set an alarm, but it'll be about 5 minutes. Thanks. Okay, folks, we are back. So we just took a break there. We are at the start of now month 1, week 3, day 1. So I didn't actually see if there was anything special here. Oh, it was week of sorcery. So from week to week, there are going to be some additional fun little things that crop up. And so in this week, we just happen to have full mana restored to all of our wandering heroes. The craziest thing I've ever seen is it was a new month and the entire fog of war on the entire adventure map just disappeared. Broken? Weird? Is that gonna throw a wrench in your gears? I think so. But we now have our 2 castles. So Maze of Mazes is up to Hydras, and we have our other castle, Chattertown. It's up to Medusa. Very good. And we're gonna be seeing actually, what can we do here with our forces? Let's just kind of pick up dancers wherever we can. So there's one, and I kind of want to fight this fight for these phoenixes. I'm so scared. I have no idea what these murmur druids are gonna do. We're gonna find out. Tell you what, let's be bold, let's be brave. It's gonna be a difficult fight. Let's just fight it and take some phoenixes. Let's get 10 more dancers. Hopefully that is not the difference between a win and a loss. Let's just see how this goes. Someone's guarding the place. This is gonna be a victory. Losses look really bad. Oh geez. All of the Dread Knights, I wouldn't mind losing all the Dread Knights. If we lose all the Dread Knights to make room for phoenixes, that actually feels okay. So let's plan on doing that. So let's fight this fight out and just see what happens. Okay, so we are in the center of this. This all looks acceptable to me. And so these are Herbomancers. These are the tier 5 creatures for the Sylvan faction. Looks like they are living, long reach enemies. Mushroom magic reduces the mana cost of the hero's spells by 1. Very fun, very fun. They have Shroom Song. So once per battle, spends all focus charges to restore the hero's mana. 5 for each focus charge spent. That is interesting. That's cool, but that's also weird. So if you have, okay, so you can do it once per stack, I imagine, not just once per battle, but once per stack, you could probably do that. Yeah, you could maybe fight some fights and purposefully try and recoup mana in the field. That's very interesting. Then they have Swarm of Bees, a negative effect. Deals damage to a target enemy. Bees will attack it, dealing damage at the beginning of every turn. Stackable. Cool, cool. All right. Not too bad. I like this creature. Tier 5 creature, what do we think? Powerful? Good quality unit. I think that's probably not too bad. We do want to use our Masterful Start, I do believe. So yeah, we're going to be up to increased initiative by 3. It started off at only 2 and now it's up to 3 because we're getting some nice levels on our hero. So this is going to take us up to 6 initiative. Yeah, that's going to do it. And if I do that, I think that this early start is going to make me better than all these other forces. So let's plan on losing some of these Dread Knights here. Let's go into the Minotaur stance doing damage. Let's kill probably 2 of these Mancers. There's 1. Ooh, there's a second. Heroic Strike. Is that gonna help? I'm gonna Heroic Strike over here. I'm gonna hope that these creatures can hold, and I'm gonna hope that my dancers can kill most of these creatures. 6 to 8, not once but twice. Very good, very good. A huge power stack you can play around is actually very powerful in Olden Era. So power stacks and single stacks, very, very important. Very, very good. That means I'm going to take these infiltrators. I'm going to lose 7 infiltrators here, but the Minotaurs are going to still stay on these creatures, which is going to be good, I think. We're going to kill 1 more here. Nice. And then low morale. Okay, wish I'd known that. That might have changed things. Long reach attack here. Long reach attack here. Oof. Oof. We're taking damage. We're taking lots of damage, but still okay with this so far. And then I think I'm just going to use the 3 troglodytes to step up here, and we'll just try and stay in the way of these guys for the next fight. There's dancers are going to attack here next turn. They're going to kill both stacks. Let's focus all of our attention on these other stacks here at the moment. I could attack with the Dread Knight. I don't think it's going to be useful. And just losing the creatures for free doesn't make any sense. So we're not going to do that. We're going to ignore this for now. I'm just going to wait on their turn, let my dancers kill both stacks here. That feels so good. Feels so good. Ah, and then a little bit of damage. The troglodytes are just going to stay in the way of our opponents. 1 to 2 of the Medusa. Nice. Okay. Alrighty, folks. That fight went way better than it should have. Yeah, these losses are definitely acceptable. And our prize is 1 Phoenix. It's not a lot of Phoenixes, but it's 1. 1 Phoenix feels okay to me. We will accept 1 Phoenix. In fact, heck, we might not even take troglodytes just so we can keep these forces. How does morale stacking work in this game? Undead have no morale. Okay, it looks like we are just at negative morale for everybody, probably except for the Minotaurs. Yeah, because Minotaurs are just that good. So we're just at neutral morale with 3 stacks of creatures. I assume it works like in Heroes games that predate Olden Era, that mixing troops does give you a morale penalty. I'm guessing that that's still the case. Overall, I'm still happy with this route that we've taken here so far. So let's start to head back, and let's let Motley start to bring some troops to the front. There's 1 set of Onyx Dancers. There's 2. Is it best to go here and then back up? No, I think that we'll have to grab this later. This just seems like a much more efficient route. It's 30. My goodness. We'll grab the infiltrators maybe. Yeah, 2,000 gold. We're actually not going to have enough gold. We're not going to have enough gold. We are so short on gold. We're going to grab whatever forces we can. We'll send them down. It might be important that we actually fight maybe the point of balance. It gives gold. No, it gives sentinels. We don't want that. Gold here from the Raiders camp. Gold here from the Iridescent Abbey. We might have to fight that. This is gold. So many good things up here. We'll come back later. If there was a gold mine, I think we would go out of our way. I don't see one at the moment. So let's just plan on getting back up here. We might even end up waiting a turn. We might just go for the Iridescent Abbey. We'll do a resupply, and then we'll head through these forces. The problem is that we're not going to have enough gold to get these creatures to want to join us. For now, I don't think that there's anything I can do about it. I can do this resource riches. We might end up doing that. I'm just going to purchase this preemptively for now and call it a day to save resources. Okay. Star says the trogs look so goofy. I love the design. I love them too. But they're not a very, I don't know, they're not a very intimidating force. They just kind of gambool their way across the battlefield. You know what these remind me of? If you ever played Legends of Might and Magic, Legends of Might and Magic was, I mean, it was Counter-Strike before Counter-Strike became a thing, but it was like a first-person shooter and like sword hack and slash thing. There was troglodytes in that game. These Olden Era troglodytes look very, very much like the Legends of Might and Magic troglodytes. If you know what I'm talking about, then tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Trenlow's in the chat. Hello, Trenlow. I think that since they're undead, you're getting a penalty right off the bat. Not sure. Yeah, I think for sure we get a penalty for having the Dread Knights. I wonder if we get the additional penalty for having 3 different tiers of creatures. In the future, I hope that we can... Oh, look, there it is. Hold on. Not here. Yes, there it is. So only when we get into battle does it show that we have -1 morale. So it showed originally that we were at no morale due to the Dread Knights, but then now that we're here in battle, we all have -1 morale because of tier 2 types of creatures. So that's interesting. I hope we don't lose any turns. That really might come back to haunt us a little bit. Looks like our dancers are going to get to go before everybody but the Mother Superior. No, the Inquisitor. Yeah, Inquisitors are going to get to go. They're not going to have access to anybody important. I really hope I don't lose my turn here. So because of this, we're going to go for the Minotaur stance. I'm going to hop on these Hierophants. These are the more spellcastery, supporty versions of the Lightweavers. And then these are the Sun Heralds. These are the more damage dealing creatures. I think that the Dread Knights are going to deal with these guys. Phoenix is going to deal with these ones. Yeah. Get out of here. I'm a Phoenix. You. Yeah. Okay. Calm down, everybody. Okay, fine. Just Phixfox. Okay. As long as these guys don't get good morale, though. Oh, and they can't either because of the Dread Knights. Dreadful Presence. All right, very good. Then I think we're okay. So we're going to attack here and here with the Onyx Dancers. I'm going to just go support the Phoenix. I'm going to go support the Phoenix. Yeah, we'll do that. Not once, but twice. And I'm going to kind of save this Heroic Strike. I want to see what happens here. We can kill 3 to 4 of these Inquisitors, or we can spread the damage. I can kill all of this Lightweaver stack with half damage. I'm going to do it this way. That just feels like it's the very most efficient. If we needed to, we could try and do like a slither away if the Mother Superiors were coming up close. Let's do our Heroic Strike now. Step in front, full damage. We kill 0 to 1. We almost kill 1. And I might want to haste or early start the dancers. I'm going to do that. 6 initiative, 7 initiative. I'm going to early start the dancers. I'm going to have spell points at some point. It'll be fine. This way I don't have to worry about the damage from here or like this. Okay. Point of interest. This is maybe going to cost me 1 Minotaur, but you see my AoE hex attack damage here? So the Phoenixes do this kind of like sweeping strike where we deal damage to the target and the 2 adjacent hexes. Does that mean I can hurt myself? And I need to do some testing here to find out. You can totally hurt yourself. I don't know if I like the Phoenix at that point. That makes positioning so much harder. I suppose you could say, well, Phixfox, the positioning is harder with the dragons for that same reason. It's like, well, yeah. Like there's limitations, but still, that feels... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. You can hurt yourself with that. How do I feel about that? I don't know. 2,000 gold, that is not nearly enough gold. Oh, we need more gold than that. My word. We'll pick up a little bit of mercury. In a moment, we'll grab this windmill. I could have got the fountain, but I couldn't have gotten the fountain and then back. So Motley now is, with 15k gold, going to grab whatever she can. There's no upgrades to worry about. Just purchase everybody, including the Hydras. Yeah, we're not going to make any upgrades at this time. Yeah, not right now. So just full-on purchase. We did not purchase all of the infiltrators or any of the troglodytes. We just ran out of gold. It tells you how dire our gold situation is. We'll pick up 2 gems. I will grab the alchemical dust before I forget. And then first thing in the morning, we will drop off this to Tilaris. So we're out of gold, no forces, but soon, very, very soon. We're going to be heading south through the water. Simultaneous turn stopped. Oh dear. So that means that doesn't mean that an enemy is on our front door. That does mean that 2 enemies potentially have run into each other, or they're about to. There's like a smart system that they have in place to make sure that there's no issues with running into each other. Simultaneous turns is a really important feature for a turn-based strategy game. I really think it's good. It does tend to give me a little bit more information than I would like, especially in like single hero mode, because then I know that the enemy is like much closer than I otherwise would have thought. So just things to consider, things that I think about anyway. We still need to get dancers from here. I don't think we're going to be able to get there in time, but we will try that. And then I am going to grab this 40 movement points. Let's see, it's going to take, hold on, I think I can shift or alt. Yeah, so it's going to take me like to here. It's going to be -8, -18 movement points to get to here. And then I'm going to pick up 40. So ultimately, it's going to net me an additional 4 movement points. Yeah, you didn't know that, but you can actually figure out how many movement points it gets to anywhere. So right now, for here to here, it's going to be -63 movement points. And then the second number is going to be how many movement points are remaining after that. So you can actually play just with alt on and then just like pick your paths really easy. You can always mouse over this bar here to see what your movement points would be. But anyway. Oh, look at this though. 231. Maybe you can't exceed your cap. Maybe it gives you 40 movement points this turn, but it doesn't give you more than what you started with. I might have just lost movement points there. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. This Whispering Stones increases the visiting hero's max mana, but I don't believe it actually gives you full mana. I will attack these creatures just for the experience. How am I going to lose anybody? It's probably the Phoenix. The Phoenix is going to hurt me somehow. I just feel like that's going to happen. Okay. Damage. Damage. These are the fawns that are the warriors, so they don't have a melee or they don't have a ranged attack. We're just going to wait all across the board. And dead for a ducat. I don't know how the AI messed that up. Okay. Well, we got up to a total of 60 mana points now. Let's go back. With 5k gold. Plus, we're going to get the persuasion power. Peoples of Jadame, your hero's persuasion power in diplomacy increases by 10%. We're going to pick up that right now. What's the likelihood that these forces just join me for free? I think that that's really, really low, isn't it? Destroying the natural wildlife, 1 creature stack at a time. No one will escape. No one. Okay, what about this? What about this? What if I get rid of the Dread Knights? What if I purchase all the Dancers because it's power stack, all the Medusa because they're such a good stack, and then 2 of the Minotaurs? What if I just go adventuring and pick up gold? Gold here, gold here, gold here. Oh, you got to go all the way around because this is not passable terrain. I did it again. Dang. Okay. Well, in this case, then, the next thing to do is to fight this fight and just go right through them. I am going to bring the Dread Knights for that fight. I don't think that the enemy is going to join me, even though I've got advanced diplomacy and even though I've got the plus 10% persuasion power. I wish that there was a way to see your persuasion power stat. I think that that would be very, very helpful, just so you don't have to do the math yourself. But we've got to get into this new area. There's too much stuff out here. Will you join? Please join. Please don't defeat me. My goodness. Folks, let's go into battle. Okay, so I like the way that we're set up here. Actually, I like this a little bit better. Start this off. We've got 63 Jasper Dancers we have to contend with, not to mention 2 stacks of the Medusa Sculptors. That's actually a really big deal. 2 stacks of the Medusa Sculptors. That's 31 Medusa Sculptors, not to mention flanked by 2 stacks of Minotaur Lords. I might have bit off more than I can chew. And I don't have a web spell. Okay. Don't have a web spell. I don't have like a Twilight. I really need a couple of spells just to shut this down. And I just don't really have a lot. This might be a lot. The Red Forest is a very interesting biome, Windowella says. Yeah, I agree. It's beautiful. It's definitely Murmurmancer-ish. Okay, what's the best thing? Look at the turn order. It looks like their Dancers are going to get to go before my Dancers and their Medusa. So I think that there's no question in my mind you're going to want the Masterful early start, because you've got to move up in turn order. That's just a for sure. And if you're going to go first, eight attack, 7 defense, 18 attack, 17 defense. I think that my defense is actually going to be high enough that I'm going to go for Minotaur stance. I'm just going to try and take out as many of these creatures as possible. I'm going to use my Heroic Strike. Hold on, what's this? I've never seen this Phoenix ability, Awaken Fire. Increase your own speed and initiative by 1 and hit points by 25. Always deal max damage. Very cool. I think that all of the Murmurmancer units, all of the Sylvan forces, they have this special ability that they can cast on themselves. Phoenixes, this is a really good one. Increased hit points by 25. I mean, that gives you an additional 1/8 of your hit points. And then the speed and stuff. That's not bad. I like that. Does not end the turn, worth noting. I'm going to wait on the Phoenixes, though. I'm going to wait on my Heroic Strike for now. Can't get good morale here. Hydras are still a very high initiative unit, even if they're very slow, which is kind of interesting. Higher initiative than the Infiltrators. I think that the Infiltrators are going to go to here, and I'll get a shot off with them. Okay, and this is what this has all been building towards. Do you want to kill 10 to 14 in 1 stack of Medusa? Do you want to split the damage between the Medusa stack? Do you want to try and kill most of the Jasper Dancers? So Jasper Dancers, 8 attack. Medusa, 16 attack. I think you definitely want to just focus on the Medusa. They're going to do full damage at range anyway. These guys are not. They're going to have a damage drop off. So you got to kill the Medusa. 1 and 2. That was 20 Medusa. That was worth it. That felt great. 20 Medusa go down there. We're going to work on this stacks here. If we can flip the battlefield to where we don't feel obligated to go down there and deal with their ranged creatures, if we make these Minotaur Lords come to me, that might be best. Because then they have to get into me. They have to attack me. Now the problem here that I'm about to see is this. These Medusa are going to use their AoE ability, this arrow barrage fighting style. So simply sitting right in front of these Dancers is not going to be very effective at the moment. I'm going to try and get this Infiltrator out of the way. It's going to cost me my turn, but this way we're not going to take additional damage. 4 of my Dancers goes down. That seems acceptable. I'm just going to skip on the Minotaurs, and it looks like they decide not to go for the barrage. They're just going to do everything else. I'm going to continue to focus on these Medusa. I'm going to take out most of these Medusa here. With my 16 Medusa, I kill them down to 4. There's only 4 Medusa left on the battlefield. I can take that. I can manage that. We do still have to have an answer for these dancers here, but this still feels effective for me. Hydras do not have a counterattack, so we have a swift strike ability. I'm just going to take a free 23 or 25 dial infiltrators off the board. We do. And then I think I might as well just do the same thing here with these Dread Knights. We're going to lose one. I kind of want the Dread Knights to be done at the end of this fight. I want this to be their only fight. And then after this, I just want them to be gone. Okay. Phoenixes, unfortunately, I can't attack here without hurting myself. And so that just doesn't feel worth it to me. I am going to position the Phoenixes to deal with these creatures here. Did you see how beautiful that was? When Phoenixes fly, they are beautiful. Okay, it's going to be their turn again. Folks, watch this. This is actually very, very pretty. I really, really like this. I'm going to leave these creatures alone. I'm just going to use Heroic Strikes. Yeah, I'm just going to use Heroic Strikes there. But look how beautiful these Phoenixes are when they fly. That feels good. Something about the way that they fly is just really, really nice. So I really like that. By the way, folks, if you have any suggestions about where my camera should sit, I recognize that you can't really tell that there is, there was a stack of Medusa right there. You can look at the top to make sure that there's nothing else you're missing there. But I don't think that there's a really nice place for me to put my camera. I can't put it in the bottom left because of the mini map, etc., etc. If you have any suggestions, let me know. It disappeared. The Phoenix disappeared. It's so majestic. It's so beautiful. And it's gone. Dead. I'm so sad. Okay, so we're currently in the attack Minotaur stance. It's pretty good. We're going to do the sweeping attack. So Hydra's got the AoE double bite, but then they also have this sweeping strike that will deal damage completely all around them. And we're going to do that now because I want to attack both these creatures. So we're going to do this whirlwind fighting style. It's going to actually do reduced damage, but you can hit more creatures. And then rather than deal with these guys, we're just going to focus on these creatures right in front of our face. Here's the last chance, though. If you want to put on defense instead of attack, now is the time. We can basically kill these two stacks of creatures. I'm going to keep the attack on. We're going to kill 12 to 16. We killed 13 and 14. Not bad. Not bad. I'm good for it. I'm totally good for it. But I do think that these Minotaurs are going to get right into me. They do. 8 dancers goes down. Another 6 dancers go down. Jeez. 11 dancers from that one hit. Oof. Oof. Not my favorite. I'm going to send the infiltrators down to maybe deal with these creatures over here. Man, we're losing a lot of these creatures. I will wait on the Medusa, or rather the Minotaur. I'm going to do my Slither Away for my Medusa. I'm just going to do some AoE damage here. Their Arrow Barrage does not impact my own forces, by the way. We're going to kill most of those, and then I'm going to do the fighting style here. I had to move the Medusa out of the way so I wouldn't take additional damage. That feels pretty good there. Remember, we do want to lose these Dread Knights, Dread Lords. These dead guys, we want to lose them. I think that the Infiltrator stack is actually a good way that I can be effective with my time. We're down to 1. Hydra is going to get a nice double hex attack off. And with the good luck, that feels exceptionally good. And so from here, I'm just going to kill stacks and stacks. I'm going to sit right here in front of these dancers. And folks, we turned a loss into a resounding victory. Now, this is not without some costs to our dancers, of course, but still, overall, I am okay with the way this fight went. I am a-okay with the way this fight went. We even lost the Dread Knights, which we were kind of done with at this point. That feels good. Okay, Masterful Early Start, by the way, huge spell. Now I see how good it is, being able to get my dancers to do the most damage right off the bat. I mean, if not for that spell, I think that this whole fight goes way worse. So as it stands, we lost all the Dread Knights, all 3 of them. We lost the 1 Phoenix. We lost 46 of our dancers, which is a big loss. But we kept the Medusa stacks. We kept everybody else. I would have loved it if these creatures had joined us. Unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. And folks, we have basic luck, basic leadership, arcane magic. We're going to go with the leadership. We've already seen that negative morale can be a problem for us. Let's use the leadership. Let's increase our morale. And folks, Talaris has now officially got Triumvirate Strength, Battlecraft, Nightshade Magic, Diplomacy, Logistics, Daylight Magic, Arcane Magic, and Leadership. You tell me, what do you think? Is this a good built hero or not? Good built hero or not? You tell me. Okay, we are into a brand new biome. Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces passing, I'm homebound. Na 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 na. Man, I haven't done that for a while. Okay. Window Ella says, also, would you agree if I said this game has a very similar art style to Heroes 2 if it was a bit more modern? So the UI, absolutely not. The user interface feels bad. I really actually wish, I want them to go back to this viewing screen here and then like all of my stuff over here. I just love that. The old Heroes of Might and Magic style where you have your castles and your stuff on the side, I understand why this UI makes sense. I think that when people talk about the game feeling like it's a mobile game, I think that it's this user interface that is really what makes people say that more than anything, more than the graphics. Because the graphics to me look closer to StarCraft than anything. This does not look like a mobile game to me, but the user interface feels like a mobile game. Does that make sense? So when it comes down to strictly the art style of Heroes 2, it's much closer to Heroes 2 than it is Heroes 5, and it's much closer to Heroes 2 than I think it is even to Heroes 3. I think that that's fair. I think that that's very fair of you to say. I haven't played 6 or 7. Tell you what though, this might actually be closest maybe in some ways to Heroes 4's art style. Yeah, this might even be closer to Heroes 4's art style. Just in the feel, in the modernization of it. It's giving me more Heroes 4 vibes than anything, if that makes any sense. So, not quite the question you asked, but yeah, a bit more modern. I would rank it. Yeah, I like it. I enjoy the art style. And I'm not here to tell you that you should or shouldn't like the art style. I'm not here to tell people what they should or shouldn't like, but that's what I like anyway. Okay. Alrighty, folks. Now we've come to this new area. Oh no, look, we see an enemy. I think that was a green enemy to our immediate north. I see this carrion pile that we have to defeat in order to get some high quality creatures from the Hive faction. These are the guys that when upgraded, the worms will shoot fire. It looks like this Pandora's box is probably going to be easy for us to take. Let's fight here just to grab this from the enemies. Because at this point, with only 4 stacks of creatures in the army, I could definitely use some additional forces. Let's go for the Minotaur stance. Let's go for the early start. I wish I had single stacks broken off. I don't. That's my bad. And then, I don't know, we'll work on the Griffins because they're going to get down the battlefield pretty quickly. And then just take out their ranged shooters. We take out pretty much all of them. Basically all of them. That's going to save us a bunch of damage. 5 lost there, 7 total, 8 to 13. Medusa are able to take out that whole stack. Oh, and the Temple Griffins actually get down the battlefield really quickly. I forgot about that. Hydras are going to get a no retaliation shot off. I'm not going to split the damage onto these marksmen, or these... were those marksmen? Those might have been marksmen. Those ranged crossbowmen, we're going to avoid damage onto them at the moment. We're going to do some skips. Damage. And out of the fight. Star says, very much a blend of Heroes of Might and Magic 2 and 4, as far as art goes, in my opinion. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is very different in its color saturation. That's such a good, I can say why I think it feels more like this other one, but I think that the color saturation is actually a big deal. So I think that makes a lot of sense, especially when we're looking at this forest, the red forest biome. That makes some sense there. Folks, for the first time, we've come upon a Pandora's box. 5,000 experience was our reward today. That means we can get up to Advanced Leadership, Expert Daylight Magic, or Expert Diplomacy. I'm going to go for the Diplomacy. I don't think we have the resources for it. It's tough to do a Diplomacy game at this point. I'm still going to try it. The additional Persuasion power and Art of the Deal. Squads on the global map take negative 15% gold to join. Bonus is doubled if we know economy. We don't. This whole Vagrant army, neutral creatures gain 100% of the hero's attack and defense as a bonus when in their army. What? What? Do neutral creatures not usually gain attack and defense? So wait, if I diplomacy somebody into my army, are they weaker than usual? Or did this just mean units that don't have a faction home? That might just be units that don't have a faction home. I don't know, but for now, I'm just going to take this Art of the Deal. Negative 15% gold to join, that feels pretty good. Because gold is hard to find. Carrion Pile, I don't actually think I want the Warmos. I don't think that they're that good for my army at the moment. And look, we've actually got two castles. We got a Schism Faction Castle, World Oyster, and also whatever that is. So we got two new castles. I'm gonna go grab this other castle immediately. We fight these guys. Destroyed. Dead. Through the windmill. We find a Dragon Utopia. Now that's gonna be fun to play around with. If we can manage it, we're gonna be happy for that. We find a gem storage. We find a petrified memorial for some Medusa. We're gonna wanna go through that as soon as we can. It looks like there's a Truth Seeker, epic offhand artifact. Negative 20 defense to enemy creatures. That seems great. Let's go for that. And then a little common artifact for +1 defense. Very cool. This new castle, by the way, it doesn't really have anything in it, but I'm gonna start to upgrade this just for the purposes of gold and faction law points. I think that you're right though. I think the faction law points don't matter nearly so much because in this mode, yeah, it looks like you're only getting 1 per day. That's very, very interesting. That does change the strategy. So the gold generation's nice, but you don't get the faction law points. I guess that just gives you like a slower build up to the game. I don't mind that, but I wish I'd known that kind of going into it. That would have been a little bit more interesting. So, okay. All right, we're gonna stay here overnight. No, there's no mage guild in here. Yeah, no mage guild, so we're not gonna stay overnight. We probably should have built that first thing in the morning. But we are going to purchase a new hero, folks. We have 2 out of 3 heroes available to us. So we're going to move up and, oh, we need a tavern. We'll get a tavern first thing in the morning. How about that? Medusa, too big of a fight. Well, let's get our 3rd hero as soon as we can. We do still want to try and go for dragons. So let's go for this level 2 mage guild today. We'll go for level 3 mage guild tomorrow. Yeah, level 3 mage guild tomorrow. And Motley is going to probably start to take troops and go into this area to clean all this out. It's time to really use that 2nd hero to great effect. Window Ella says, well, Heroes Might Magic 4 is a bit of a hard thing to compare to since it's so early 3D. True. And so maybe I'm just looking at it like it's 3D and I'm comparing 3D to 3D. But Heroes 5 is also 3D, and it feels like Heroes 4 is closer in the 3D aspect. That's just me though. It's difficult to say, Window Ella continues, what's actually intended style language and what the technical limitations are. That's a good point. Like, Heroes Might Magic 4, is that what they were really going for, or was that just the best that they could do at the time? That's a very interesting point. I got no thoughts about that, but I like the way you're thinking. And then with it being day 5, I'm still hoping for the cave dragon. Let's see if we can find some nice stuff here. Gems. What do we need? Hold on. I need lots and lots of gold, and I have the gems. Okay, that tells me everything I need to know. Just get lots and lots of gold. Find gold. And then also Window Ella says you could definitely sell me on the take though that this is Heroes Might Magic 4 if 3D tech was fully developed. I'm not gonna try and sell you on anything. Yeah, I don't know if I have an opinion strong enough to really say much about it more than what I've said there so far anyway. Okay. By the way, artifacts, we've got this new, we found the scroll to the north up here, and that gave us web. We now have the web spell. We are much better off than we were before. 2 Dragon Utopias. That's a lot of Dragon Utopias. A lot of Dragon Utopias. I think if we spend no gold, Motley, looking at you. If we spend no gold, I think we're going to have enough resources to get the cave dragons this week. I'm just gonna hold on to Motley for now. We just saw an enemy. We might have expanded into the wrong area. Or maybe this was the right area. Maybe we did want to avoid a fight for now. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so Dragon Utopia, Axolotls, Aquaddles. Cute little things. Okay, there's some cute things going on over here. Quillins for the first time. This is the first time I've ever seen the Thunder Quillins in game. I just don't see a lot of them. Human Vigilance. I don't want more Dread Knights. I do want the Pauper Knight Order. I'll pay the 1,000 gold for an extra, in this case, probably be 2 defense. Yeah, probably 2 defense. To 14k gold. Let's spend just a tiny bit of gold. 2,500 gold to get an extra 1,000 gold per day. It basically cost me 1,500 gold. I'm going to make this purchase now. We'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really want to get, if these were Elite Medusa, I would upgrade them, but these are the Minotaurs. I think I'll go for Persuasion. I think we'll go for Persuasion at the moment. Okay, that's the end of day 6, and then on to day 7. Again, folks, this has all been kind of building towards getting into our... I didn't pick up the Mage Guild. Oh, I did. Whew. I thought I didn't pick up my level 3 Mage Guild. I did. I'm just kidding ya. Folks, for the first time we get our dragons. Cave dragons. Look at them. So beautiful. And if only we can take this cave palace right here, we're going to get not just 1 a week, but 2 a week. And if we can get the walls upgraded, that'll be even better. Even better. Okay. Manny MM is in the chat. Hello, Manny. How are you? Hello, Mr. Fox. Hi, chat. How are you and your sweetheart doing? It's always nice to hear from the both of you. Hope that you all are doing very, very well. Let's see. Prismatic Nest. Let's... I don't know. Kitten Horns? Fairy Dragons? Kitten Horns and Fairy Dragons. It says we can win this fight fairly easily. I'm going to attack. I just don't know how well this is going to go. Oh, you say I'm going to lose 90? That's not acceptable. Losing 90 of these forces is unacceptable. That's 23. They're too fast. They're too fast. 6 initiative. I can't slow these guys down. Oh, disaster. They're just too fast. Okay. What can we do? We can still masterful early start, but at this point, I've got these creatures right in my face. I can't get rid of 23 fairy dragons in time to allow my Onyx Dancers to do boatloads of damage. I don't know what to do here. This is not good. Heroic Strike is only going to kill 1. By the way, fairy dragons, a tier 5 creature, 75 HP, do pretty good damage. Dragons, okay. Melee attack, blink, magic immunity. Mana Drinker steals 2 mana from the enemy hero at the start of its turn. Bubble of Silence. Adjacent enemies can't use abilities. Interesting creature. Nullify. Dispels all negative and positive effects from the target. Very cool. Banish Summons. Dispels all summoned creatures and temporary stacks. Very nifty. And then the Kitten Horns. They give all friendly creatures tons of morale. Remnant of the Mad Times. When the creature dies, Berserk is cast upon its killer. Oh no. Oh, Kitten Horns. Why are you so scary? Well, folks, look, even if I do some mass initiative stuff, I think I'm just going to have to take some damage. Let's go into Dark Elf stance. We'll go from 6 defense up to 12. That actually matters. I'll do my damage where I can. I'll wait on the Heroic Strike. Down to 81. Down to 78. Good morale, because of course there is. Down to 72 dancers. Great. Okay, we're good. It's fine. We'll be okay. We'll be fine. Now, look, I can kill 4 to 6 of these Kitten Horns, or I can try and fight 2 and just, you know, do half damage. I really don't know what's best here. With the Heroic Strike, I'm going to hope that I can kill 1 full group, because then maybe I can run with the Dancers. Yeah, if I need to, I can use the Heroic Strike, and I can perhaps, like, scuttle away. Scuttle away, my friends. I am going to also do the same thing here with these Dancers. I'm going to back off. Hope for good morale. We don't get it there. We're going to wait on the Dancers. Hope for good morale. No good morale. Wait. Yeah, I got good morale. I got leadership. Going to back off again. Hope for good morale. Doesn't get it. Slither away. And then what do you think? AoE damage here. This will actually free up that Kitten Horn. Then again, we can kill way many more Kitten Horns here. Let's actually do that. Yeah, let's kill as many Kitten Horns as possible. We're still kind of leaving the Fairy Dragons open at the moment, and that doesn't feel great. But, okay, what about this? If I attack this Kitten Horn, who is the Onyx Dancer going to attack when we get berserked? Are we going to attack friend or foe here, 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 or here? We have a 1 in 5 chance that if we attack, we're not going to take damage onto our main stack. Let's hope we don't attack our own Hydra. But first, let's actually do our Heroic Strike. Let's do... I don't know. Here. Another Fairy Dragon goes down. We're berserked. And we attack this other creature. Oh, that was sick. Did you see that? Okay. So I made a mistake then. It looks like what happened is we attacked this creature, we got berserked, and so you immediately berserk again. You attack, so berserk, attack, berserk, because they died, attack. If we'd started over here, if we could guarantee that they would have gone dead, berserk, attack, 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 we could have cleared out all these forces. I just don't know if you can count on that. That would be sick though. That'd be nifty if you could do that. I don't know if it's likely or not, but these are the things I think about. Okay. All right, we're down to 9 of these fairy dragons. Folks, there's nothing we can do. There's 44, 43 of these dancers left. We have taken an absolute beating. I am not having a real good time. I am straight up not having a good time. I'm going to hope that I'm not going to attack these kitten horns. I'm going to attack these kitten horns from range. Berserk is cast upon the killer. Oh, so you kind of want to heroic strike them, or you want to do the AoE barrage attack. I don't know, but we are going to kill the fairy dragons right now. We kill 4. Okay. Here. I don't mind if one of these small groups gets berserked, and I don't mind if I get berserked here. So I attack, I get berserked, I attack again. Oh. Hey, it worked out. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. I thought it would go from here to here. I don't know what determines the targeting. I don't know if it's random when you get berserked or what, but that's important information to have because that is a skill issue that can prevent major losses in the future fights. So folks, we get out of here. This was not worth it. Losing 65 of your dancers, half of your power stack for some dust and some gems and stuff. I just wasn't well equipped for that fight. And now if you thought I could take other fights, I can't. Oh, like I need to fight this fight, but I just can't. These Quillins now, yeah, I can't fight them. Goodness gracious. Whew. Whew. Not good, not good. Manning in though. Says, very fine, thanks. Just returned from a nice dinner. Some heroes of Olden Era today? Absolutely. Here's my Magic Olden Era. That is what is on the game today. That's what we're playing. And I'm having fun. I'm having some good fun with this. If I get the opportunity to stream tomorrow, we'll see. Then we'll consider doing F-Heroes 2 tomorrow. I might be able to get some F-Heroes 2 in tomorrow. We'll see. For now, Olden Era today. But it's lovely to see you there. Welcome, welcome. And Double Pandan says, kitten horns are the biggest menace in the entire demo. Yeah, agreed. Star agrees. Most annoying enemy in the game. Windowella says, oh, look, it's a cute little kitten. Make it stop. Yeah, make it stop. I think I've had enough fun with the kitten horns. I think I'm done with them for now. But now the question is this. It's day 7. I think I've got to get ready for another week's worth of these dancers. I just don't know if it's the best tactical decision. Just don't know if this is the best tactical decision. I do need to get into the treasury. If I get the bank, and if I start working on walls, no. Tavern, no. I don't have the resources for it. I'm gonna get the tavern just so I can hire a hero here in the future. I still think I need to get even more gold. You'd think that with 10,000 gold a day, that'd be fine. That covers my dancers, but that's about it. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. What an interesting game. Interesting game. End the turn now? Yes, we will. Will the enemies come from the northeastern position, though? That's kind of my question. Well, that's not good. Oh, look at this. And folks, it's Week of the Dusk. This covers the entire global map in a fog of war for all players. So I can't even check to see how strong that green hero was. But clearly, if they just went right through those liches, they're pretty tough. Okay, we just lost our dragons. That's not good. That's not good. I guess I should have believed or trusted that the enemy was going to be very keen to take that. But in the meantime, then I say to myself, well, what are my other options? I think I've immediately got to go up the road back to my starting castle. Well, one of the starting castles, this one. I got to resupply it. And I think I got to fight. Right now, I got to fight for that castle as much as possible. We're going to recapture, or rather for the first time, capture the Schism Castle. So we're still up to 3 castles at the moment anyway. Gonna ignore all these forces. I just wish I hadn't recently lost all of my forces and handed over dragons for free. All right, let's see what happens. Off we go. Windola says this looks like Week of the Plague. It kind of does. I mean, the enemies are everywhere and just being dead and dying, and oh my goodness, look at you. Rack Tool. We're gonna have to fight this fight. Enemy has finished placing their creatures. Start the battle. Oh, folks, we lose. We are so done. They got Hydras, 2 types. So many troglodytes. 30 of the Medusa Sculptors. 147 of the Dancers. So I thought I had a lot of Dancers. They're up to 30 Medusa. They're not up to dragons, but they have them because, hey, I bought the Dragon Cave for them. I can't win this fight. I can't win this fight. I was way too slow in this game. Huh. Because even with these forces, and then we just spent all of our gold, I think what I was doing is I think that I made a mistake in trying to go for the hard economic start, and I think I was very, very greedy. I wonder if the enemy just put all of their resources into those upgrades and into maybe just one castle. I don't know where they got. They did a really nice job with mitigating losses on the adventure map. Even if I had like 120 of these dancers though, I don't think I win. Unless my stats are somehow much better. I didn't get the chance to look. 8, 14, 11, and 7. No, that's just a lot to handle. Okay. How much is a mage guild? We need to leave here tomorrow with 2 mage guild levels. We got 36. Oh, hold on here. Marketplace, anywhere? I don't have a single marketplace. My marketplace was in the other place. It looks like tomorrow we're gonna leave with the level 1 mage guild. And this hero is just too much. Whew. Whew. Oh, are you gonna reach me today? Yep, this is pretty much your last chance. So tell you what, let's go for a full defense. Let's go for the wall, because I think that the AI doesn't recognize how strong walls are. And so I think that we have the possibility of just like holding out in our little castle here. It is possible that we will be able to hold out here. We'll pick up the remaining forces with 120 gold, folks. This is going to be our last stand, but I think the enemy is going to attack us, and they're just better than us in every which way. This is crazy. When I play single hero mode with one hero, I've never had a hero just be better than me. I'm just always superior because I can clear out the adventure map better, I feel like. But here, I am clearly worse off in every which way. And gold was always a problem. Even when I tried to focus on getting Byzantine palaces up, maybe, okay, hold on. Maybe in this mode, you actually shouldn't go for the Byzantine palaces. Maybe you should go for Byzantine Palace 2 because there's a prerequisite. Palace 3 is mostly about law points. These are only 500 extra gold per day. 1,000 gold, 1,500 gold, 2,000 gold. So this is not really the way you generate gold. Maybe I should have gone Byzantine Palace 2, bank for 1,000 gold, go into the walls, get the treasury. So that's 3,000 gold, 4,000 gold. Yeah, this is actually not really your gold route. This is for faction law points. You really want to go in this direction. And the fact that I never did, I think absolutely cost me in this game, because this week 4, if you had like 2 weeks worth of an additional 4,000 gold per day, I mean, don't tell me that doesn't stack up. That's an extra 40,000 gold. So I thought I was going for hard economy, but especially in this mode where you can only get 1 faction law point per day, then really you should never go for this Byzantine Palace 3. Like pretty much never. Huh. Are we learning a lot or what? This is great. This is great. I know that you're looking at this like, oh no, Phixfox, you lost. Yeah, I did. You know, barring a miracle here. But when it comes right down to it, like, this is the fun that is Heroes of Might and Magic. Heroes of Might and Magic is fun not because we win every time, but because it's interesting. The game is always on a knife's edge. I want to see this guy attack me. I want to see him finish this off. But the fact that we can lose is actually what makes this interesting. Okay, so 1 hero is in the back. What are you gonna do with your main hero? And there he goes. Okay, let's see if we can fight this fight, folks. This is the final fight, our final stand. And look, we even get a stack of tier 1 creatures. Hey, because we chose that wall adjustment. So we can place our forces only in these sections. That's interesting. I would like it if you could arrange your forces differently in a castle. I think that'd actually be much better. Even without tactics, with or without tactics, I'm the defender. I have all day to set up. So I think that'd be a change that I would actually appreciate. Okay, what spell was that? So Sunny Raktul is the daylight magic specialist, by the way, just in case you're wondering. So daylight magic, Sunny Raktul, Arena's Touch. Oh gosh. Oh. And they cast 2 spells. So they cast Blessing so that their forces do 25% additional bonus basic damage, basic attack damage. And then Arena's Touch, additional initiative and HP. So their entire army has 20% bonus HP. Really good for these huge stacks. Really good for these huge stacks. Meanwhile, I have not a lot of anything. Okay, so heck, with 50 spell points though, my lightning bolt does nothing. I think it's your initiative spells, or rather your utility spells, are always going to be better. I don't think that Masterful Early Start is doing me a lot of good right now. If I had 100 dancers, maybe that would be different, but even so, not really. Wean reduces the duration of positive effects applied to the target by 5. So right now, for example, these creatures, 6 turns, 10 turns, Wean would reduce these in half. It would almost completely remove the Arena's Touch. It would remove it for next turn. I'm worried about these dancers. I'm worried about the Medusa. It's going to take a while for these other creatures to kind of get into the battlefield, I think. Anyway. Oh, look at this. And I can do my turret salvos. Let's do 690 points of damage to somebody. 690 points of damage to the Medusa. We're about to go. How many does this kill? 30 down to 22. That kills 8? Yeah, turrets are busted. Can I do that again? Can I do that again? I love these turrets. These are awesome. Okay, let's do that every day. And then I'll heroic strike again, because going from 30 Medusa down to 18, I don't know. Like, we can win this fight because, again, we're defending. If the enemy doesn't have siegecraft, if they can't breach the walls, we're just going to try and do a full defend. I'm going to move the Hydras to here just so we don't get barrage attacked. We don't. The extra stack of troglodytes, they took some damage there for us. Okay. I suppose I ought to do the Dark Elf defense stance, so we're up to 12 defense. I'm going to wait. Everybody else waits. I wait, you wait. Looking at you, looking at me. Start working on the defense of the troglodytes and these dancers, I suppose. Just because there's so many troglodytes there. It'll depend on how well this enemy is able to get into my army. Primal Magic, it does have within its tier 3 spells Earthquake, which does kind of replace Siegecraft. I don't know about Siegecraft as a spell or as a secondary ability. It feels very niche. But the Earthquake spell from Primal Magic that brings down the walls and does damage to all enemies within the castle walls, it's a good spell. I don't think it's enough to make Primal Magic higher than tier 4 spells. It's very niche. How about that? It's got its use cases, but not so much. You dog used your Shadow Strike ability. If you use your Shadow Strike ability, your infiltrators basically become another ranged enemy. It's crazy. In case you didn't notice, so we started round 2, and all this just happened. The enemy cast Healing Water, okay, and then they cast Shortened Shadow. So all their forces were healed, and then they're also going to get that affected again because I'm sure that Sunny's got expert daylight magic. So they're also going to get healed at the beginning of the next round of combat, by the way. Arena's Touch, Healing Water. Yes. Oh, maybe it's permanent. For the next 2 rounds. They're going to start with an additional 185 hit points. Okay. But then we got Shortened Shadow, so our attack and our defense are going to reduce by 2 for the next 9 rounds. Goodness, I don't have an answer to that. I can't wean myself. Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can counteract that on our Medusa, our best stack of creatures. Let's take -2 attack and defense, and let's increase our attack and defense by 2 for the next little bit. And let's just continue to heroic strike. Let's do Medusa here. Let's do so much damage. 115 at a time, 160. We'll wait on these creatures and just hope that they can't get in the walls. Okay, down to 4 Medusa. Still a good defense. Ooh, they use their AoE barrage ability to take out this little bit of terrain here. That's kind of nifty. Don't hate that. Might as well get your focus stack just in case you need it for something else. Waiting. Just waiting. Again, how long is it going to take for them to get into the walls? And then will these infiltrators have full enough stacks to cast their ability again, or is it on cooldown? It might be on cooldown. Okay, defending here. Defending here. They walked into something. I don't know what it was. Maybe there's like a little bit of damage they'll take. Maybe I chose the wall ability that makes invisible traps. Right now, you don't want to attack. Right now, you just want to defend. Just defend. Nothing but defend. Because these... Let's see. Lots of healing just done right there. Wall, I don't believe that the wall section just got breached yet. And the enemy cast Ice Bolt. Dancers did their damage. But now these guys are in the wall. These guys are now the priority. We needed to take out the range damage from the Medusa, and it needed to be the Medusa because they had the counter shot ability and the sharpshooter ability, so they were going to do full damage, and I couldn't attack them from range without taking some damage. They were the priority. Now I think that the infiltrators are the priority with the tower salvo. We're going to kill a bunch. 170 down to 128. It's not enough. It's not enough. They're within the walls. They're in the walls. We'll heroic strike. 6 down to 102, down into the 90s, 95. It depends on how long the walls last for. Still on our defensive positioning. I think I want to do full damage here rather than try and deal with the dancers at the moment. The dancers are doing reduced damage over the wall. I will slither away. Slither. Can't do the AoE there. I don't know. You're going to get the best bang for your buck by attacking here. Then again, this is still the priority. We'll kill 9 to 15. We kill down to 76. Okay. If I attack, I'm going to take a retaliation. That's going to be one less stack that they have to deal with. Again, the longer we survive, the better this fight is for us. So the Hydras can attack, but nobody else should. I don't know what's causing them harm. I don't know what that is. Yeah, what is that? There must be there's got to be invisible traps that I don't see. That's got to be what it is. Did you just break the wall? I can't quite tell. They might have just broken the wall. Okay. They cast Carapace on the Troglodytes. They've broken through, my lord. No, they've broken through. At this point, I wish I had like a really fast creature that could run away, but I just don't. Okay, so Tower Salvo, oh man, who do you attack now? 600 points of damage. That's gonna kill 4 Hydras. How much damage did these infiltrators just do? Infiltrators just did... This is messy. I hope that they figure out a way to deal with this in the future. 687 damage. All you would need to do, just for feedback, negative effects, color them with like a red color. Positive effects, color them with a green color. And then damage, color that with like an orange color or something. That way I can immediately pick out, oh, I'm looking for damage. Who did damage? Who took damage? That would actually help me a lot. Okay. But with 690 points of damage, I think you do want to deal with these Hydras for a second. Yeah, there's only so many left. Down to 67 of these infiltrators. This is not good. One more Hydra. Hold on. One more. Why can't I... Did I lose this tower? I might have lost this tower. Yeah, they might have destroyed that tower. And I just don't know it yet. Okay. We'll do the heroic strike then. Back off. Gotta stay alive. You have to stay alive. This other turret though, it looks like I can do damage there. Okay. But the right one is out. Yeah, it won't let me do damage with the right turret. Okay, interesting. 32 points of damage. I think that we're gonna use the Minotaurs to try and kill this. Yeah, this Hydra that's just got a little bit of HP left. Not great because these other creatures are coming, but Like, all things considered, folks, this is, I mean, we knew this was going to be a loss. That's, I don't want to say that's fine. Like, we hate to lose, right? Nobody likes to lose, but we're putting up a bit of a fight here. I don't think that the green player is going to win the game at this point because they exhausted their forces so heavily on us. We learned a couple things. We talked about early game economy and trying to figure out what makes the most sense. Goodbye to the Jasper Dancers. And the Medusa are going to get the chance to do just a little bit more. These guys are too slow. Well, the Hydras are going to get their turn again. Gonna slither. Yeah. Left turret. Maybe. Okay. Heroic strike. Okay. Alrighty. And this is the end, folks. We put up a valiant fight. We took out a lot of enemy creatures, but when it comes right down to it, the enemy was just too strong. And we saw that from the beginning, but still, these losses do look much better. We did take out 30 of their Dancers, 187 of their Infiltrators, 28 of their Medusa, 39 of the Troglodytes, 2 of the Minotaurs, took out a full stack of the Hydras. Most happy about taking out those Medusa first. Like, 690 damage from a turret? That just feels like too much. I had no business doing any damage in this fight. Like, I should have lost this fight like that. The losses are still too high, even though it benefits me to have these turrets. It's kind of like the problem with turrets in Heroes of Might, or in Warcraft 2 and in Warcraft. Any kind of real-time strategy game, Age of Empires, that has a defensive sort of turret or like a defensive structure, it slows the game down. It forces you to rely on ballistas, catapults, other ways of dealing with the defenses. And while that's not a bad thing, really, it does slow down the game. Now, that's worse in RTS games because RTS games are all about actions per minute, and that's a new element that you have to deal with, and you have to keep your forces away from the enemy, and yada yada yada. But I think that in Olden Era, we're getting something of a similar effect where this is going to slow down games. This is going to make it so turtling actually makes a game go on for way too long. And if an enemy is trying to break the siege and they're trying to defeat the defender, and they just misjudge a little bit, or they get a little bit unlucky in a fight and they lose because of the enemy's turtling, that's going to feel really, really bad. So, I'd like to see the castle defenses come down just a little bit. Even if that main shot was from 690 damage down to like 550. What if it scaled up? What if it scaled up over time? Because right now, good luck taking this kind of castle in the first 3 weeks, maybe even in the 4th week, because we're on the 5th week right now, I think. Yeah, could be impossible. This was my main army, but even with a random other hero who has just like single stacks of creatures, the fight it takes to take these castles is just too high. So anyway, just my thoughts. Folks, we've lost. And even though it's not over because we still have 2 more castles left, it's over. I'm going to graciously hit end turn, not once, but probably twice, just so the green player can have the satisfaction of beating us, and we will have the satisfaction of having our nice end game screen. I will wish the green player all the best in their future endeavors, and I will be very sad to say that that will be the end. So, wins and losses, they don't all feel good or bad. It's just what they are. Okay, let me get to chat. So Window says you got out economied. It felt like it. And we talked about how I made the error where I went for the Byzantine Palace. Law points, it looks like in this mode you can only get 1 a day. So yeah, needed to go for the treasury and the bank much sooner. So that was my error there. So out economied, 100%. Could not agree more with you. Star says, okay, so it's not just me. I had played this scenario and somehow the AI amassed like 3 times the units I did. You know what? Sometimes the AI surprises me and they have these games and they just blow me out of the water. And sometimes I'm like, that didn't seem hard at all. And I don't know what the difference is from playthrough to playthrough. I have no idea. Window says that they believe that the AI does a pretty good job at amassing the army that they've noticed. Okay, makes sense. And Star says in single hero mode, it definitely feels like the AI is nerfed somehow. I'm guessing that in single hero mode, that the AI doesn't take any risks. I'm guessing that they play very, very safe, because it would really feel bad as the player if you're playing through against the AI and then all of a sudden you just win the game because the AI misjudged that stack of kitten horns. Yeah, if the AI just misjudges the stack of kitten horns, that'd feel pretty bad. Anyway, but yeah, expand brain, we're learning. We're always learning. And that's why I'm glad we have the demo now, because even though this is probably not going to be what we see in early access, we're still learning. We're still getting better. So having fun with it. Did I get the tax collector faction upgrades this game? Those were like the first things I got. Yeah, I was getting an additional 750 gold per day from the faction law points, just like that in the very beginning. So it's pretty good. And then Double Pandan says Earth's Rage Shot one-shots most of the enemy army and the walls when it's max level, and you start getting some spell power. Until then, it's not very exciting. You know what? I guess I've only seen it at max damage, but the fact that it damages all the enemy forces in the walls and takes out some of the defenses, it's a really good spell. I think it's one of those spells that you probably want to try and purchase at your mage guild just to make sure you have it. If you don't have it, okay, if you don't have it, you want web for sure. Web is just too good of a spell not to have, right? Because you can play with speed. I think that you definitely want to have Carapace if you have the opportunity, because you can do an awful lot with just preventing damage. Likewise, I like the Weakening Ray. I really love Weakening Ray. I will purchase Weakening Ray in my mage guild if I can have it. I think that Rewind Time is a useful spell to purchase, just to have. I think that having Earth's Rage, just kind of for this niche sort of thing, is really, really good. What other spells? What other spells are so good that's just really nice to have them, that you will purchase them if you don't have access to them? Sleep. If you want to purchase Sleep, I think Sleep is way, way, way far up there. A lot of utility there. Twilight, to prevent the enemies from doing ranged damage or reduce their melee damage as you level that up. I think that's a really good spell. What other spells? But here we've already named like what, 6 or 8 spells that are so good that it's worth getting them just to have them in your back pocket. I worry that a lot of games are going to be RNG dependent on if you can get a Pandora's box that will give you a host of spells, right? Because there's so many perfect spells for the perfect moment, and getting that Pandora's box is worth more than 5,000 experience. It's worth more than 10,000 experience. It's worth more than 40 Mantis Reavers, in my opinion, right? Especially in the late game. But anyway, a little bit of RNG, and just so we're clear, RNG is not bad. RNG is not bad, and the fact that you have the ability to purchase spells to kind of cover up your weaknesses, there's a mechanism in place to still prevent RNG from completely ruining your day. And RNG in and of itself is not bad. Like chess is a game where there's no RNG. You see all the pieces in front of you and you know what all the pieces can do. And it's a very engaging and tactical game without damage ranges, without luck, without morale, without stumbling on the right artifact, right? RNG in and of itself is not bad. But it is possible that there's going to be certain amounts of RNG that could be just a little too much. It could be. I don't know. We'll see. It's all going to be about balance. And I don't have any decisions or thoughts at the moment. These are my thoughts as they were. You just had them. Anyway. Thoughts. Star says, oh yeah, the damage of castle defenses should scale as the game goes on and start very, very low. It incentivizes early expansion. Yeah, I think that that's correct. I think that's probably the most correct thing. Anything that scales just makes a lot of sense. And then Windowella says, rip and rip. At least we had fun and grew as people. That is ideal. That's what we're here for. But they've won, Windowella, day one on single hero mode because the AI must have suicided into creatures. Yeah, if that happens, then the game kind of feels pretty bad. Double says, I do like the magic system in the game so far, much more dynamic and fun. Yeah, RNG where you don't get access to spells feels bad. Like being able to purchase the spells and the way that the level up works, I think that they are going to continually have to balance certain spells to make sure that they're not too powerful. I think that you're always going to have to make sure, like, oh, is this proficiency 2 spell level too much? Should it be pushed into proficiency level 3, right? Anytime that a spell will go from impacting one single creature into impacting the entire army, friendly or otherwise, I think that that always is going to be a really hard break point in the value of that spell. So making sure that it's not always unlocked too early, right? Like we got hit with that shortened shadow ability, for example. Yeah, just things to think about. But agreed, anything where level 1 or 2 is too strong needs tuning down. Yeah, because everybody should have access to level 1 and 2 spells. Everybody should. So level 1 and 2 spells should be very much like the cream of the crop, the utility spells. There should be times in the game, of course, where level 1 and level 2 spells are more powerful than level 5 spells. Sunny Rock Tool, they just beat us with like a blessing spell paired with an Arena's Touch. That was the first turn of combat, was the plus 20% damage from basic attacks with the blessing spell. That's a tier 1 spell, right? You pair that with the Arena's Touch, where you get the initiative, the additional initiative, and the additional HP. That's a tier 4 spell, tier 5 spell, tier 4 spell. Still really, really good, but the tier 1 spells should be able to scale into that late game. I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. So the tier 1, 2 spells, they need to be strong, but not too strong, right? Maybe they just need to have a high effect, but not a very high ceiling. Tough to balance, but I agree with you that it is good Magic. The system in Magic, I do like it as well. I agree as well. Double says Daylight in general has some incredibly powerful buffs that continually scale super hard all the way from early to late game. Yeah, for that reason, I think that Daylight Magic is the best school of Magic, because at any point, is there any point at which Daylight Magic falls off? No. Primal is the worst school of Magic because as the game goes on, the damage just can't keep up. Ixmilla's Rampage is the best tier 5 spell because, sure, doing a bunch of damage with Armageddon sounds cool, and yeah, there's some nice use cases there, but being able to buff your forces in the late game, Magic is more for buffing and bending the rules of combat. Yeah. So Daylight Magic at no point really falls off. Good in the early game, good in the late game. That's a really good point, Double. I think that's a great idea there. Good point. Good input. And Window Ellis says, I think that's where upgrading should come into play. Yeah. And just so everybody knows, like, you can manually upgrade each spell once at the cost of 25 alchemical dust. You can upgrade a spell once, but you mostly get the increased effect by having your hero know the corresponding school of magic to increase the spellcasting prowess of that, and also by having multiple mage guilds that have the same spell in that will increase the effect of the spells that you have. So good stuff. Isn't this great that we can just like stop playing the game for a second and we have this much to talk about? It's the conversation about complexity versus depth. This feels like depth. There's depth to the game. Is this complex? Well, yeah, there's some complexity, but that doesn't mean that this is overly or needlessly complex. That's just my 2 cents. I've still not made an official opinion on whether or not I like Olden Era. I do like it. Okay, all right. I really like it. But I'm never gonna like die on that hill. Not until the game is fully out yet, right? Just because I think that the people that say that the game is trash, they're like, oh, it's garbage, I hate it. I think it's too soon to say it's trash. Likewise, I think it's probably too soon to say it's the best game ever, right? I like it. I hope you like it. I hope we're enjoying our time together. But I'm excited to see what changes and improvements and what direction the devs take with this game moving forward. I'm very excited to see that. So, folks, with that being said, I'm actually going to call it a day. This was a 3.5-hour stream. I will consider taking a short break and then just coming back and playing some Heroes 2. But for today, I think we're done. And this was fun, and I appreciate everybody being here and spending the time with me. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.